Sports 56 and 87.7 FM welcomes you to the Peter Edmiston with CJ Hurt. The first hour of the experience is brought to you by Lads for your zero-turn mower and golf car needs. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Wow. Man, do we have a lot to get to on today's show? And am I going to need some help from you? Absolutely, I am. Welcome into the Peter Edmiston Experience without CJ Hurt today. Back tomorrow for CJ. Maximilian Von Vincent, a.k.a. Maximum Overdrive, a.k.a. Maximum Voltage, a.k.a. Maximum Security, a.k.a. 2% is on the other side of the glass, taking care of each and every one of you. And as I said, today of all days is a most important day for the First Bank phone lines, the First Bank text lines for you guys, because we've cleared out the show. As far as I know, there may be a surprise here and there, but we got no guests because today there's a lot to get to. And yesterday was I don't remember off the top of my head a more emotionally draining, a more incredible game and surrounding events than Game 5 last night in Toronto. The Warriors winning 106-105, barely, hanging on by the skin of their teeth in an emotional roller coaster of a game. Do not even know where to start on this one. But obviously, the biggest news of all has nothing to do with the outcome. It has everything to do with Kevin Durant and the likelihood that he is torn his Achilles tendon and obviously will miss the rest of the series. And in all likelihood, because of an Achilles tear, the nature of that injury, he will miss. If it's fully torn, you would expect him to miss the entirety of next year as well, which is just crazy. But in that is so much complexity that we have a lot to discuss. And so that's where we'll begin here on the program. We'll also touch on a few other things Grizzly related as it pertains to Jonas Valanciunas and his option possibilities. We'll get into that a little bit. We'll also talk a little bit college baseball. Sorry, bud.
It's all coming.
That's all I can say is, man,
it was a beatdown.
The Razorbacks put it on the Rebels pretty hard. It was a weird series because it was beat down, just flip-flopping back and forth. But when all said and done, you needed to get that second win, and Arkansas got it rather easily, as it turns out. So they go on to the College World Series. So this is it's a disappointing day for a lot of folks and a heartbreaking day for many. We'll discuss all of that over the next 3 hours with each of you. As I mentioned, the First Bank phone lines open for business, 360-8255. That's how you get in touch with us, 360-8255. First Bank text lines, 67129. And again, today, because the schedule is mostly clear, we got plenty of time for your phone calls and your texts, and I would love to hear from you. No CJ Hurt. CJ's out. He'll be back tomorrow. But Max is here and taking care of business, and we'll have plenty of audio from last night in addition to everything else coming up here on the program. To give you a little heads up on what's coming up today for you guys out there, it is a really nice morning. Like I will say, outside today, you want to go out there and I don't know, kick back, get a cup of coffee, and sit outside. You know, whether you're at an apartment or at your house or wherever, it's a good day to do it. Or go to some patio, some breakfast place with a patio. My folks at Central Barbecue don't open just yet, but I don't know if they could, if you could have a breakfast barbecue burrito, something like that. This would be a perfect time to go sit out on the patio because it's 63 right now with not a ton of humidity, and it just feels very nice. Today, it's not going to get all that hot. You're talking about high, may get to 80, fairly low humidity, low tonight into the upper 50s, which is really unusual. We'll see that for the next few days as the heat is not hitting hard. So it should be a nice week. I don't think there's going to be too much precipitation today, although there will be a lot of clouds, as you kind of see for most of the area this morning. The big headlines from yesterday, of course, obviously Game 5. The Raptors with the opportunity to close out the Warriors. Kevin Durant started and played extremely well.
Looked like KD.
He looked like, on offense, he looked like KD. Defensively, kind of, understandably not so great, but that's to be expected. The guy was nowhere near 100%, but he looked, and more importantly, Golden State looked like, this is not good for Toronto. They're doing all the stuff that when they're scary, they do. They're just making shots. They made their first 5 threes. Like it just looked easy. And you're thinking, But as time went on, the Raptors hung in there and kind of, clawed back a little bit, even with Durant in the mix. You could tell that Durant was not comfortable driving to the basket. Any kind of action where he had to push off that calf, he wasn't feeling very good about. And then obviously, in the second quarter, he goes to drive and, you could see on the replay, you could see the pop. And that means the Achilles is gone. And that's what they believe, according to Ramona Shelburne and Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. The Warriors believe that an MRI will confirm that the injury he suffered is an Achilles tear. And typically, you don't see a lot of partial tears in the Achilles. I don't know if I'm trying to think. Mike Conley's deal was more of a swollen thing than a tear. I don't think that ever got to the point of being a tear of any kind. But generally, when you see stuff like this, it's a full tear.
That video they showed of when he was going one-on-one with Ibaka, it just looked like his calf just exploded.
Well, yeah, and that's the pop happens.
Like this thing was like a time bomb. Like it was ready to go. Well,
then we're going to get into that aspect of it here in a little bit, because that's a really complicated discussion. But Durant goes down, and all of a sudden, the arena erupts. It was loud. The cheers, people were really loud, and then you saw Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka, Danny Green were all kind of trying to calm the crowd down because they realized, walking over and talking to Kevin Durant, that it was very serious. And it I got to say, man, this crowd is hungry. They're desperate, an opportunity to win a championship. But that was classless by those Toronto fans. I can't say it was the entire crowd, but it sounded like a lot of the crowd. It sounded like a big chunk. There was a cheer. And this is the kind of thing that you always hear about Philly fans, like, oh, Philly fans are cheering for somebody getting hurt. Philly fans are booing Santa Claus. Toronto folks typically are thought of very nice. Canadians are they're very nice people. This was not nice. That was wild and classless, and their own players had to calm them down. But this is something that they will remember, that their own players will remember. It's a very bad look for the city of Toronto. Very bad look for that stadium. Because, players ultimately, as you saw, when them talking to Durant, helping him off, when Steph Curry talked to Kyle Lowry before the beginning of the second half, because Lowry was concerned and he wanted an update on what happened with Kevin Durant. And they're competing against each other, and they won a championship and all that stuff. It's an intense competition, but ultimately they're all part of the same player fraternity. They're all friendly with each other, generally speaking. It's a very small group. It's a tiny little fraction of people that are good enough at basketball to make it to that level. And they do look out for each other, even on opposing teams. So even the Raptors are not going to be real impressed with what happened with those fans. That's the kind of stuff that players file in the back of their minds and remember, like, oh, okay. That's how you're going to treat me. Because they know if Kyle Lowry were to get traded and play against Toronto and somehow, who knows? Who knows? Marc Gasol, obviously, has been traded. It's no guarantee that you're going to be a member of one team forever, and eventually you're going to be on the wrong side of some fans. And so It was a bad night for them. Very bad night for them. And karma, say what you will, but yeah, karma comes back to get you a little bit in these situations. I hated to see that. That turned my stomach a little bit too. But you could tell us it was bad. It was bad at the moment. And from that point on, the game kind of meandered along because I think everyone was just in shock about what happened. It was just such a defining moment and so sad because you just had a feeling. You just kind of knew. Nothing had been announced yet, but it looked like it was pretty bad. And so everyone's just sort of sleepwalking through the game, especially the Raptors. They really seemed like they were shook. They go down double digits. And then they're just sort of, hanging around, getting to 6 points, but never could get over the hump. Finally, fourth quarter, Kawhi Leonard loses his mind and goes on. After really not playing very well at all. I mean, it was a very bad game by his standards. Turned the ball over a lot, just real dumb turnovers, some bad defensive plays, just didn't look locked in, missed some shots that he normally makes. It was a weird game for him. And you're thinking, okay, maybe he expended too much energy in game 4. Maybe this guy is human. But he comes out and with the game like right there in his grasp, goes on a personal 10-0 run and making some, 2 threes, some driving, like just super strong. Had they gone on to win this game, that would be a Jordan-esque kind of thing. Like that would be in the pantheon of memories.
Once they got the 6-point lead, I was like, okay, that was the turning point. I think it's over now. But no,
I thought, that's what I tweeted out. That's what I tweeted out. I said at the time, it felt to me like because they'd never led. It felt like if Toronto ever gets the lead, it's over.
Was that the first fourth quarter lead change in the whole series, right?
Yeah, and it was. I mean, Toronto had just been kind of just never quite gotten over the hump. And so when they got there and then they immediately pushed it out to 6 points, it's 103-97. You think, oh, okay, this is it. This is done. It's a wrap. Golden State, how can they respond mentally? How do they have the fortitude to come back from this? They're getting overwhelmed, taking some bad shots. Everyone looked tired. But that was the key. Because Nick Nurse, the coach of the Raptors, decides that's the time to take a timeout. And it
dumbest thing all game.
3:05 left in the game. Now, under 3, there were 2 timeouts that you would lose. They had 5 timeouts. I think 5 or 4, but you lose 2 of your timeouts at that point. You only have the 2 under the 3-minute mark. So no matter how many you have going into that, you lose them and you end up with just 2, which they instituted that rule a couple of years ago to keep the game going quicker and to not have 4 different timeouts at the ends of games and just keep timeouts. You got to streamline it a little bit. So he said after the game, he felt like they were use it or lose it timeouts, and we wanted to use them because our guys were tired. But you know who else was tired? Golden State. And probably more tired by the looks of it than the Raptors. So what you had, and I know this is like one of those, second guessing things, but man, I said at the time, you had this crowd that is, lifting the stadium off the foundation. They are right there, 3 minutes away from a championship. The best player on planet Earth right now is playing insane. He is lifting that team. They are following him. He's making these shots. The crowd is going, everything is going in their direction, and they take timeouts. Plural. So it was an extremely long break. And they come back with the ball. They had the ball. And then what happens? They score 2 more points the rest of the night. Two more points.
They turned it over right after the timeout.
Turned it over right after the
time. Back-to-back threes
turned it over.
Golden State.
Golden State's a 3. They come back. They have that terrible possession where Lowry ends up throwing the ball away at the end for what was a shot clock violation. It would have been a backwards violation either way. They got another bad possession after that. Golden State ties it. Then Klay Thompson hits the 3 to take the lead. They lost all their momentum. I think Nick Nurse has done a really, by and large, a very good job coaching Toronto. I don't think there's been too many complaints, but that was as baffling a timeout and as poorly used a timeout as I've ever seen. Why do you take the momentum away from your team? Has finally worked. They've not been playing very well. They've been, kind of just scrapping along and hanging in there. And Finally, they get the wind behind their sails. Finally, you get a guy that's going crazy. You got the other team on the ropes. I mean, if they use a timeout, fine. There's nothing you can do about that. But you use your own time to sabotage your own thing for the sake of getting your guys rest. But again, they're more tired than you are. So you're giving them rest too. And you're giving them a chance to draw up some stuff, which, they ended up getting some good looks out of those. They were on tilt. That team was just meandering along. I thought a massive mistake from Nick Nurse. Didn't cost them the game, all that stuff. Who knows? And then, of course, you saw Boogie Cousins try to give the game away with a goaltend and then a moving screen, which was the right call. It's a hard call to make at that point in time. But he definitely shifts over. That's one of those you normally expect to not be called in that situation. But it was called, and it was right. So he, with a goaltender and an offensive foul, a turnover, and then Nick Nurse does not elect to use the timeout at that point. They go down with 16 seconds left and just run the play. And, to be fair, it was a great freelance from Andre Iguodala, who kind of broke the scheme and went to double team Kawhi, kind of unusually. It was not the way that they typically would have double teamed that situation, but he's a smart guy, and he kind of read that it was a panic time and didn't think that Kawhi would be able to find the right pass at the right moment, which he didn't. He kind of shifted it over to Van Vliet, who shifted over to Lowry, and Lowry got what appeared at first to be a very good look that he puts behind the backboard, and everyone piling on, saying, "Oh my God,
that was an awful shot." It looked like someone that is walking on the street shoots that.
It was an awful shot, but if you look, but turns out that Draymond Green got a hand on it.
Oh, he did.
And so if there are pictures now that you can see, he got 2 fingers basically on the ball, which is enough.
Well, it looked like he just missed it completely
to knock. Yeah,
I mean, that was awful.
No, he got enough on the ball to where it knocked it. It didn't like block it, but it deflected it, so that the ball ended up going behind the backboard rather than, because listen, Kyle Lowry, we saw that him throwing that ball, into the backcourt was not great. We saw some old playoff choke Kyle Lowry come out, but I don't think Kyle Lowry's not going to shoot a wide open corner 3 behind the backboard. That would just be ridiculous. It made sense that something made that ball go behind the backboard. And it turns out there's a picture you can see, which Kyle Lowry owes this guy some lunch. Because the picture shows clearly Draymond's 2 fingers are like on the ball. So you can see there's actual contact there. And that gets Lowry off the hook for what was otherwise one of the worst game-winning shots in NBA history. So it was blocked, and Golden State wins. Didn't feel like a win. It felt like survival amid a bunch of crazy stuff. And immediately after the game, everyone pivots to Kevin Durant and his discussion. The game itself was insane.
Hell of a game, a great game.
It was a great game, but it didn't. It didn't have that feel. You couldn't fully enjoy it because you knew, like,
well, you got Katie's injury in the back of your head.
Yeah, it's all the
even though with all everything going back and forth, it's like it's a good game, but like I don't know if I'm enjoying it or not, but just because of the Katie injury.
Yeah, you couldn't fully give yourself over to the game and just kind of fall into the emotion of it, everything else, because you had that specter. You knew, okay, this is, it's bad, and it's gonna get real bad.
And the whole mood after the game was just depressing.
Yeah, it was depressing, and we're gonna get into that aspect of it. So that's the game itself. Now, around the game, obviously, now the attention turns to Kevin Durant and his situation, because game 6 will be Thursday in Golden State. One more game in Oracle. Probably shouldn't have been based on the performance, but one more game in Oracle, and then potentially game 7 on Sunday back in Toronto, and maybe the Warriors can come back. And I mean, it would emotionally they run out of bodies.
I think they're just emotionally drained right now.
Klay Thompson is not 100%. He's playing out of his mind. I mean, he's not 100%.
Well, both him and Curry carried that team last night. They kept talking about during the fourth quarter, like, hey, is the Iguodala thing, like, want to keep him out there for the defense? They might need a bucket, put Quinn Cook out there. It paid off. Again,
I'm not comfortable with the Warriors as scrappy underdogs. But that's kind of what this has put them into that role. And I cannot say enough about that core group, especially with Steph and Clay and Draymond Green and Iguodala, that core that's been there for the whole time. How much they still want to win. It would have been very easy for them. They've already banked, 3 championships, 4 straight finals appearances. It would have been very easy for them to just be overwhelmed by the emotion of this thing and just kind of give up, especially at the end when Kawhi makes that run and you're thinking, well, that's it. It would have been easy for them just to say, we can't fight anymore. Not our year. But they never did that. And they had all the reason in the world to go ahead and wash their hands of the whole thing and just say, look, man, this is too much. And they didn't. And, trying to win another one. It's that incredible desire to win. It's why Durant was out there. The guy wanted to win. And, but these dudes, emotionally, physically, all that stuff, all those challenges, man, it didn't let them stop them. And I'm not comfortable with them as the underdogs, but they played that role and they were very impressive in doing so. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Durant side of it, including hearing from Golden State General Manager Bob Myers in a very unusual general manager post-game press conference. Rule of thumb is if your general manager is addressing the media after a game, it is not good. In the case of the Grizzlies, it was when they botched the Brooks trade.
That was not good.
That was not good. This was a very serious injury. Not good. Again, the circumstances under which the GM does a press conference after a game and it's good, hard to think. Hard to think of too many of those that are out there. And this was certainly not one of them. So we're going to hear from him because it was particularly notable. And then we're going to get into the deeper stuff behind the Durant injury. That first segment, we talked about the game. Game was amazing. And we can get into the game too. But there's more to this Durant thing now. And we're going to get into that aspect of it when we return. I would love to hear from you on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. What were your emotions like watching that game? As a fan, I know I felt drained after the game just watching it. I can't imagine what it was like playing it, being in that arena. It was a emotionally draining watch to know what these guys are going through, and it only got more emotional after the game was over. Let me know what you think, 360-8255. You can also hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Peter Edmiston. He is at Max Vince at 95. Station is at Sports56 WHBQ. You can also see us on Facebook and on Periscope, Twitter, all that stuff. Feel free to check us out on the video as well as the webcam is in full effect. Text in 67129. That's the First Bank text line, 67129. This first hour brought to you by our friends at Lads, ladsonline.com. Up your life with Lads, whether that means zero-turn mowers, whether that means club cars. It's all there and customizable for you with the great people at Lads. Lads is just off of I-40 at the Whitten Road exit. You can see it as you travel 40, particularly those of you that are headed westbound. You can definitely see what's going on there at Lads. All the club cars, all of the great kind of like all the great mechanical stuff, the machines that you need, those vehicles that you need for your property. And especially for those of you that are running lots of property, your property manager, utility manager, things like that. You've got area that you got to cover. You need to get, one of those 4-wheel machines that can take you out where you need to go. They can get you taken care of over at Lads, and they can do it. You can do it in a lot of style and have some fun with it too. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. You can customize all that stuff to your liking and make it not just functional and usable, but also a lot of fun. That's where Lads can help you. They've been doing it for years. Ladsonline.com. Just go see them off of Whitten Road right there at I-40 in Whitten. We'll take a break. We'll come back just getting started here on The Experience. Peter Edmiston with you. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Thinking about building a home? Perhaps a renovation you want done right. Whatever your plans, contact Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken understands it's a big decision. That's why he works closely with his clients, ensuring they get exactly what they want and expect. Quality construction, on time and on budget. For 2 generations, Ken Garland Home Builders has been building and renovating fine custom homes all across the Mid-South. Nothing is finished until everything is right. Call 901-751-1632. Online at kengarland.com.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
The Can-Am Spring Fever event is on now with our family of off-road vehicles that are built for this. We're built for seeing the sunrise and for days lasting past sunset. We're built for trails, tasks, and tough times. And we're built to move you through what won't move. So how do you become built for this? By getting to the Spring Fever event at Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and finding a brand new Can-Am off-road vehicle for a $3,000 rebate on select 2018 models for limited time. Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
Catch the coast in Memphis at Crab King's Seafood and enjoy fresh, delicious seafood. 7140 Stage Road in Bartlett and the new store at 5992 Knight Arnold at Hickory Hill. You want to know just how good Crab King's Seafood is? Top Memphis Food Reviews recently picked Crab King's as a winner in their top 10 category for 2019. So now you know what the King stands for in Crab King's. So don't be disappointed in seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. They have fish, shrimp, and of course crabs at Crab King Seafood in Bartlett and that new store at 5992 Knight Arnold at Hickory Hill. Steamed or fried, lunch or dinner, they even have catering and they're open Tuesday through Sunday. Fridays at Crab King's will make you even happier because Crab King's now has a happy hour Friday from 5 to 7. That's 2-for-1 fish, fries, and frosty beer. Catch the coast today. Visit Crab King's in Bartlett and the new store at 5992 Knight Arnold at Hickory Hill. Download the app and get a free drink. Search for Crab King's on Google or the Apple Store.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ADC accredited facility and their practitioners are ADC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
To yours, Wolf Chase Lemon Brace.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Lads for your zero-turn mower and golf car needs. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Feels right. Soft Rock Tuesday feels right. Something a little mellow, after
it goes with the mood.
It does. It fits the mood, man. It's 7:30 is the time. It's a great song. Oh. too long. I've been waiting too long. I just can't help but sing soft rock. It just hits me. That's like my wife gets so mad because she's like, seriously, are we listening to this again? Yes, because it's great.
Does she listen to the show?
Sometimes, like not.
She must hate Tuesdays.
She knows about Soft Rock Tuesdays. We have the satellite radio, and I always try to listen to the Yacht Rock. Yacht Rock is like the softest of soft rock. It's a real. I love on a road trip or something. I'll turn on the channel 311, and she's like, nope, sorry. We got to listen to that. We got to listen to Foreigner. We got to listen to these things. We got to do it. It's vital. Welcome back. I am Peter Edmiston, and it is the Peter Edmiston Experience. And normally I would say the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt, but there's no CJ Hurt. So it's the Peter Edmiston Experience without CJ Hurt. And you know who else is hurt? KD is hurt. He's hurt badly. It is the Warriors Experience with KD hurt. And that's now where they are. What? That's true.
Oh, too soon.
Come on, man. No one is having fun with this, but you just have to accept that that's where things are. So KD, it appears, Kevin Durant has torn his Achilles. It is a severe injury. If it's a full Achilles tear, generally speaking, that will keep you out for a year. Which, well, I mean, you do the math. It's going into his free agency. It's very much like what happened to Boogie Cousins, who had going into his impending free agency when he was with the New Orleans Pelicans. He tore his Achilles and did not get a contract offer to speak of, and ended up having to sign for, the taxpayer mid-level with Golden State, which was like a $5 million deal. Because everyone, now it's a little bit different because he's a big man, and Durant is not nearly as physically big as Boogie, but nonetheless, Achilles injuries are devastating. Wes Matthews had his Achilles and actually signed a big deal with the Mavericks. I think it was a $70 million deal, 4 years, $70 million. But they both sides kind of knew it was, it wasn't going to work, and it didn't really work. He was never quite the same guy. Kobe was never the same guy after his Achilles situation.
John Wall just tore his this year.
John Wall is out for all of next year, basically. I mean, it's a brutal injury. It's worse in many respects. It's a lot worse than the broken leg that Paul George suffered. That was a more gruesome injury, or even the situation with Gordon Hayward, who really shattered his ankle and all that. But those are gruesome, but bone injuries generally can heal as long as the break is, clean. You can get it reset. It takes a while to heal and all that, but you can heal up and you can be as good as you were, because you're not, dealing with the structural, the tendons and especially a tendon that's as important as the Achilles for the way that you play, you power, your drive, all those things that you get, the athletic ability. So much of it comes from those Achilles tendons. You have to have those little flexibilities. And we were talking during the break about, kind of how the muscles fire and why that all kind of ends up in that Achilles. This is where you get to, I think people will sort of dismissively say it's the blame game, but that's not fair, because a lot like what happened with Marc Gasol. Do you remember Marc Gasol broke his foot? It was a very serious foot injury that could have been career ending. Marc's recovery has been amazing because he's the only guy, especially the only big guy, who's ever recovered from a mid-foot injury like his and been okay and as good or better on his return. Never happens. It was a major, major thing. But prior to that injury, there had been warning signs. You're talking about multiple weeks of foot pain and increasing foot pain and discussions. And Marc, being a gamer, didn't necessarily want to miss time. It's hard to get Marc to miss games, but there were signs, and he reported and told them about them. And they were a little nervous about, when the MRI, and finally they had scheduled the MRI on Marc's foot prior to his injury. He was going to get an MRI that next day anyway to check on the injury. It just so happened the night before he actually broke the foot. So the MRI ended up being for the broken foot, it would have been just to test what the foot looked like. So he would have been. It was kind of one of those weird coincidences. But I know, and I've spoken to Mark about that, and he said, he would have had to do it a little bit differently, if he had known. It's hindsight is always 20/20, and this is not a 20/20 hindsight situation. We talked about it on the show that the calf injury can lead to an Achilles problem. That's a pretty well-known muscular combination when it comes to your body. That's, those are related. That Achilles is doing a lot of that. There's a lot of that force that drives into the Achilles. Achilles is pulling that muscle. There's a lot that thing is working on, and it relates to the calf. If the calf is weaker, that opens you up to potential Achilles damage and absorbing all that power that's coming through from your quadriceps and your muscles above, especially on those push off like he did when he was trying to drive the basketball. That's where he got hurt. So that's the backdrop for people wanting answers. The whispers about this prior to that was, and we'll talk more about this later on, but there were plenty of articles that came out that were sourced. Sam Amick, Tim Kawakami, both from The Athletic, both well thought of, well sourced guys. Had players were talking, and players in that locker room were wondering how seriously Kevin Durant was really taking this thing. Was he holding out? There were those little rumors, little whispers that came out, like they did with Luol Deng, back in the day, like they did with Kawhi Leonard, coincidentally enough. When he was with the Spurs, you remember Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili kind of coming out with little comments about, well, I think I could have come back. Well, you see what happens. And now Kevin Durant's the latest victim of that kind of thing. So that's the backdrop for the unusual Bob Myers press conference, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors after the game last night. And here it is, he addressing the media, sitting down and trying to compose himself through what sounded like tears. I'll be honest with you, I never saw a tear.
I didn't see any.
But he was sounding choked up, and we'll get to that in a second because I don't know. That was anyway. Just listen to it, and we'll comment afterward. This is Bob Myers.
Kevin had it's an Achilles injury. I don't know the extent of it. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. Prior to coming back, he went through 4 weeks with our medical team, and it was thorough, and it was experts and multiple MRIs and multiple doctors. And we felt good about the process. He was cleared to play tonight. That was a collaborative decision. I don't believe there's anybody to blame, but I understand this world. And if you have to, you can blame me. I run our basketball operations department. And let me tell you something about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant loves to play basketball, and the people that questioned whether he wanted to get back to this team were wrong. And I'm not here to... He's one of the most misunderstood people. He's a good teammate. He's a good person. It's not fair. I'm lucky to know him. I don't know. I don't have all the information on what really the extent of what it all means until we get an MRI. But the people that worked with him and cleared him are good people. They're good people.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack there. It felt I could not help but think about Dave Yeager and his tears after the Grizzlies lost. They were swept by the Spurs at the end of the 15-16 season, and Yeager, threw an emotional press conference at the end of it, and everyone was, blown away, and the emotions. Oh, I can't believe this got so emotional, and it sort of just stopped talking about the underlying issues of his attempts to maneuver his way out of the position and get a different job, which he ultimately get himself fired and getting hired by the Sacramento Kings, basically a week and a half or so after that press conference. So I felt like the emotions kind of people glided right past. I remember very distinctly. Yeah, everyone. That was I want to say it was a Sunday where that game was, and then the Monday after was the postseason media availability for the Grizzlies, and Yeager was not at all emotional in that. And I remember he was almost like kind of cocky. I was like, "Are you going to be involved in the?" He's like, "Nope." And I mean, totally different attitude, and it felt very contrived then, and it was. I think you could pretty safely say it was pretty contrived. I know Marc Gasol and others didn't really even pay that much attention to it. So make of that what you will. This felt, I'm not going to say it's the same thing. I can't speak for, I don't know Bob Myers. I don't know that situation in the same way. I can't, but it when I saw it and I saw the nature of that performance, because it felt performative to me. It didn't feel natural.
It didn't feel real, I was about to say.
It didn't feel real. Like when you walk up there and
when you're just listening to it,
like,
it kind of does, but when you're watching, it was like, but he's not crying.
He wasn't really. I don't think I ever saw a tear. I'm pretty sure I never saw a tear.
He didn't. No, there was none at all.
And he's. I don't know. It just was. I'm certain that he's emotional. I mean, obviously he's emotional. It's an emotional time. But that felt over the top. That felt over the top to the point where it actually raised my alarm even more about what actually happened and how they cleared him. Because I think he saw. And he's trying to jump in front of this thing because he knows, and trying to cast people who were, quote unquote, blame. But I think he understands what happened here and how, if they did this poorly, if they were pressured into clearing him when they shouldn't have, if that organization is found to have cut corners in the way that they handled Durant's treatment, if they overlooked certain things, if they overlooked the possibility of re-injury. Steve Kerr was saying over and over to Rachel Nichols reported that Steve Kerr was like saying, the doctors told us that he couldn't injure it worse. The doctor said he couldn't injure it worse, which that seems crazy to me because it's pretty well known that there's a high risk. I mean, that was out there. The risk of re-injury was pretty high in that. It feels like that would be a massive dereliction of duty, not to mention that part or to downplay that. So I think there's a lot more to the story. And what Bob Myers did, while touching in its own way, to me was just almost suspicious. I don't know. Maybe I'm just super cynical, but I didn't, that raised my alarm bells more than it calmed them down. I'll put it that way. We'll take a break. We'll come back with phone calls. 360-8255, 360-8255. Love to hear from you. And as I mentioned, today we are guest free, so I can get a chance to hear from you guys on the text line and on the phone lines all day long. First Bank, love to get your thoughts on what was an incredibly consequential day or night, I guess I should say, in the NBA, not just for the finals, but long afterwards. We'll come back. Lots more to get to here on The Experience. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Check out Dave Voloshin and Brett Norsworthy with Sports Time. Weekdays from 3 till 6 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales. Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven. Plunge on in to the Super Summer Sale at Family Leisure. Complete pools starting at only $12.99. 24-foot above-ground pools starting at $19.99 installed. 4-piece deep seating patio sets starting at $7.99. Holly Adirondacks, 20% off. Spas starting at $17.99. Swim spa starting at $99.99. Family Leisure has great prices on all outdoor kitchens and pergolas. Lowest prices guaranteed. The Super Summer Sale at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and I'm with my friend Marty Fulton, formerly of Plantation and Whispering Woods Golf Courses and a PGA Life member. Marty, my goal has always been to shoot my age.
Sheldon, not a bad goal as long as you live to be over 100.
Yeah, I know. I spend far too much time helping clients sell or buy homes to devote to golf. I'd be lucky to shoot par.
Sheldon, in real estate, you're way above par. That's why people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
Thanks, Marty. People should always talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers when they're thinking of selling, and let me be one of them. They need to hear about my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. That means the difference in whether they sit or sell. They can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. At 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. And go Tigers!
This Father's Day, eat like your dad taught you with Kingsford. Just fire up that charcoal and grill some lip smacking, falling off the bone, died and gone to heaven. So good you could ugly cry ribs, or chicken, or heck, grill a whole hog. It ain't summer if you ain't eating good. So what are you waiting for? Kingsford, start something. Grab a bag at your nearest Home Depot.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infiniti of Memphis, and we've got a new Infiniti crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like 2 engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own. And only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infiniti of Memphis and online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Lads for your zero-turn mower and golf car needs. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
The finest years I ever knew.
Oh, man. This is sad song right here. Woo!
Goes with the mood.
I mean, boy, oh boy. Bread. This is bread, by the way. I would give anything I own to have that decision back again. Maybe. Kevin Durant may be thinking that this morning. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience without CJ Hurt today. CJ's back tomorrow. That's Max Vincent playing your soft rock favorites.
Getting choked up like Bob Myers.
I just thought it was. Oh man, he never cried. There's no tears. I don't know. It's all fishy, man. It's all very, very fishy. 360-8255. First Bank phone lines, as I mentioned. Your phone calls are here. And we start with Melvin. Melvin, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Good. What's going on, man?
Yeah, let me touch on the first thing. First, the Durant situation. Now, they're like, I work, you know how you work with, you around playing that bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
First, they were like, Milwaukee's going to beat Golden State. Giannis this, Giannis that. And then they lost to Toronto, so they jumped to Golden State and said, Golden State going to do this, Kawhi, or whatever. So I had a friend of mine, well, a co-worker, he was like, man, Durant come back game 2, Durant come back game 3, Durant come back game 4. Now, I always said this. I don't wish nothing bad on him. I said, if he come back, you know he risking his career, right? I said, he got a Achilles sprain, or it's something got to do with Achilles. Okay, you look at all the trouble Mike Conley been through, or what Cousin been through.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, I think I think something happened when he fell over a boxer. And then later on, it just popped. And you heard some of the reports, some of the people, had inside information, whatever. And they were like, these people didn't want him to play yesterday. Or I don't know. You know how Durant, he want to prove people wrong, this and that. But I think that was that wasn't a good decision. In hindsight, because I said it first. I'm not an age, I'm not in the know or whatever, but I knew that was a bad decision. It wasn't nothing. You down 3-1. If he was going to come back, why didn't he come back when they were down 2-1? You're going to wait 3-1 if y'all lose. You're going to say, if they would have allowed, they would have said, even though they won, but like, what did he accomplish though? And do you think, I know this probably a year injury or whatever, you think somebody still to max him out? I know he was a good player, but that's the worst injury to come back from.
It's the worst injury to come back from. I think, Melvin, thanks for the phone call. Those are the questions. And, that's the discussion, and that's where Bob Myers and the medical staff comes in. And I'll say this for Durant. Durant is, obviously the guy loves to play basketball. He was playing before his injury. He was playing as well as anybody could have imagined. The guy's got 2 Finals MVPs. He's a phenomenal player, and even in that little cameo that he got for the Warriors, you saw the difference when he was out there. But here's the other thing about Durant. The guy loves social media. The guy is unable to plug himself up and just kind of turn everything off and go on about his business. The guy is, he's using like burner accounts to get after it on social media. The guy is following, and you saw him responding to guys like Chris Broussard out there. He's listening. He's got rabbit ears. He's listening to everything. How much did that factor in? How much did Durant feel compelled to prove people wrong? To say, oh, I'm not this guy that's holding out. I'm not a guy that's unwilling to play. I'm not a wuss or whatever phrasing he would put out there. How much did that factor in? Because Durant is not one of those dudes. There are a lot of guys. I talked to a bunch of the Grizzlies about this year about how they turn off cell phones and stuff like during the season or during key moments that just Ivan Rapp told me he like deletes Twitter and Instagram about like once a month just for a few weeks just to kind of, and then he comes back for a little bit and then he deletes. It's like a whole cycle. At least he could do that. Durant can't put that stuff down. And I have to think that factored in a little bit. And in his mind, feeling like he's got to prove all these people wrong and show what he can do. And all. That's his mindset. I don't know, man. I wish he could just turn that stuff off. We've got a ton to get to. I want to get to Keith, and then we'll get to Marco. Anthony, same, my man. Anthony, same. We get. I want to make sure you guys have time. We'll do you guys at the top of the hour. Keith's been very patient. Hold on for a long time. Keith, appreciate your patience. How are you, sir?
All right, Peter. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
All right. Yeah, I got of course, Golden State was just on fire in that first period. I mean, they were Durant was on fire, but wasn't there like I'm talking about emotions maybe getting involved in it somehow, where maybe he was trying a little too hard or something. Was it him or Green that got into like a little altercation with, was it Lowry driving the lane or something? They got in.
Yeah, Draymond was on one last night. He was doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, it was just like, it was like they were. It's like Toronto was like, no, you're not going to just blow us out here. It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, Draymond's got 6 technical fouls. His next technical foul, he would be suspended for a game. So, he could be suspended for Game 7 if he gets attacked next game. He's got 6 techs in 21 games for a guy that was ready to quote unquote calm down. I'm not sure how that's working out.
Yeah, see, I think it escalated. I think the emotions got really high, and maybe Durant was just got involved in the moment, and he just tried a little bit too hard on that leg.
Yeah, well, unfortunately that's cost him dearly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate the phone call. Let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, Marco Anthony, my man Anthony Sane, will be on with us as well. Because I know you want to. I can't wait. I'm asking you guys, just think about that. Think about why, Bob Myers would have felt compelled. There was no reason. Like the league did not mandate. He didn't have to do it. This is not the coach's thing where the coach has to come out. They have to send players out. They didn't have, the GM is not obligated to do this. So why would he? Why would he want to get out in front of this thing? Especially with a very overtly emotional press conference. What's he trying to do? 360-8255. That's how you get in touch with us. 360-8255. Got some texts as well on the First Bank text line at 67129. Back after this on The Experience. Hour number 2 on the way. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Are you looking for a high-quality, family-oriented country club experience? Then look no further than Windike Country Club. As a member, you have access to the men's and ladies and junior golf programs, the best par 3 in the Southeast, and 2 18-hole golf courses that you're going to absolutely love. Windike is also a great place for weddings and wedding receptions. Keep it in mind. For more details on how to become a member, call them today at 754-1888 or email membership@windike.com.
It's all about the fun, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Sleepy Z's Mattresses by Michael Zoner is the winner of the Memphis Most Best Mattress Store for 4 straight years. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and Sleepy Z's is the mattress store where you can save 50 to 80% off retail store prices every day of the week. They carry Serta and several other brands and have hundreds of mattresses to choose from. Go there today and mention Sports 56. You'll get an extra 10% off any mattress or furniture. Call Michael directly at 901-359-1040. It's Sleepy Z's, located at 2790 Kirby Wynn Road.
You have to be up in 5 hours. 2 hours. 6 minutes, and you haven't slept a wink. ZzzQuil Pure Z's is a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake with no next-day grogginess. So tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil.
Once upon a time, there was a sleepy bear in search of a place to nap. Like the inside of a car. A coupe? Too small. An SUV? Too big. A station wagon? Just right. But as his eyelids began to get heavy. Covered it. September 30th, 2013. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
I'm here with Anna and Catherine, 2 of Mr. Charlie Burgos' granddaughters at the Rendezvous restaurant. Okay, ladies, you guys and gals now ship a Rendezvous nacho box. Why had no one thought of that before?
We do. We have no idea. Someone suggested it to us, and at first even we went, can we make that work? So we sent a bunch of sample boxes to friends and family to only rave reviews.
Okay, so what comes in the nacho box?
You get Rendezvous pulled pork, a bag of Brent's corn chips, a bottle of Rendezvous barbecue sauce, a bottle of Rendezvous seasoning, a tub of Poncho's cheese dip, and a jar of Flo's pickled jalapenos from Felicia Suzanne's. The box is $99, which includes overnight shipping. It makes 6 to 8 full dinner-sized nachos, or feeds way more if you're just serving it as an appetizer. It truly is a perfect taste of Memphis. A great gift for family, friends, clients, coworkers, or just some Memphis expats.
Where do we order these delicious nachos?
At hogsfly.com.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous Restaurant, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis in the alley since 1948.
Real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and WPGF-LP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurts. This hour is brought to you by Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, specializing in stem cell treatment for your neck, back, hips, knees, shoulders, and autoimmune diseases. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
And with the slap of a hand, he had landed as an only son. His mother and father said, "What a lovely boy, we'll teach him what."
This is a little out of left field. I like it. Hour number 2 on Soft Rock Tuesday is here. I'm Peter Edmiston, back with you. No CJ Hurt. CJ's back tomorrow. He's out. Maybe there's an Achilles situation with CJ. I don't know. The doctors are pressuring him to come back early. We'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, Max is fighting through. You okay over there, buddy? We got.
I'm good.
No injury situation to speak of. Yeah, don't hold out on me. Don't make me do a tearful press conference. I'll do one. I'll drop right now. Drop of a hat. I'll start. Max, my buddy. I'm happy to do it. You can ask my kids. I can cry minutes, and actual tears will come out. We're referring, of course, to Bob Myers in his press conference, and it's very suspicious and weird situation. I don't know. Something. Spidey sense is tingling on that one. It's a little after 8:00 here, and hour number 2 is underway. We have so much to get to about this incredible game and incredible circumstance last night. The Warriors win it, 106-105. Raptors up 3-2 in the series. Raptors had the opportunity, up 103-97 with about 3 minutes left. Nick Nurse taking timeouts that are baffling to me, and gave the Warriors a little chance to get back into the game after Kawhi Leonard had gone almost full Thanos and destroyed what the Warriors had left in them. He was just eliminating it one shot at a time, but a little timeout just gave them enough energy. They boost through, and they end up winning. We go back to Oakland for Game 6 on Thursday night, but Kevin Durant suffers a torn Achilles. It would appear, nothing official yet, but it certainly looks like it's a torn Achilles, which is about the most devastating injury that a basketball player can suffer. Of course, he's an impending free agent potentially. Now, there is the issue of his $31 million player option. We've all just assumed he's a free agent because it is a player option, but he could opt into that, knowing that he may not get free agent offers out there, and then let Golden State go ahead and pay for that rehab, and then deal with his free agency after that. Golden State, may, out of almost guilt and trying to keep the franchise credibility going, they may offer him a max deal, almost as a I'm sorry package. He may opt out, and they may go full max with him for that, and maybe they may be the only ones that would. I don't know. I mean, there's so many factors which you as a team offer Kevin Durant a full max, knowing now for a 4-year deal, knowing the first year of that deal, won't be able to play. And then when he comes back for that second year of the deal, he's going to be compromised. I mean, he's not going to be the same guy. Look at what the Wizards are dealing with John Wall right now. He's going to miss all of next year, most likely. With his Achilles, he may not be the same. And, they signed him to an extension, a supermax, but nonetheless, they're dealing with the same kind of thing. So, that's what's on the plate. What should be a beautiful day. High may reach 80. Should be cloudy and nice. We got so much to get to, but I want to go to the phone lines now. My man Anthony Sane covers the Grizzlies for the Flyer at Sane Asylum on Twitter. Is kind enough to jump in for a moment or two. What's up, Anthony?
Peter, what's up, bro?
How you doing, man?
Man, no lie, bro. No joking, bro. I watch TV in my house via the internet. I don't have cable.
Mhm.
I have several streams of.
You and me both. I'm the same way.
Right. I watch TV that way. And I went out last night. Got in about 9:00 last night, and I realized that my Wi-Fi was off. So I hadn't paid my Wi-Fi bill. So I came in. A couple people wanted to fight me on Twitter, so I had to deal with that. Of course.
Right.
And then
It's another day at the office for you. I got you.
another day at the office. Another day at the office. Had to check my followers to see how many I lost. Because that kind of stuff really matters.
I know. You're on that point. You are constantly looking at that. You got it. I understand.
Yeah, I just put so much time worrying about who really cares about what I had to say.
You and Kevin Durant.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Yeah, long story short, I paid for my Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't able to see a second of the game.
Uh-oh.
I kind of got caught up and I didn't see anything. So I really just called to see, did we win last night?
Did the Grizzlies win? Did the Grizzlies, aka Marc Gasol? No, they did not.
Did Toronto South win last night? Because I haven't seen anything.
Toronto South did not win. Memphis North did not win. No.
Okay,
you can cancel the parade. The parade on Beale Street has been postponed indefinitely.
Yeah, I took off work today too, man. I took off from all of my jobs today. It's unfortunate, man.
That's tough.
But Mark had a good game last night, though, right?
He did have a good game, actually.
Oh man, that sucks, man, because he's not going to give you another one. So, damn.
Come on, man.
That's terrible.
He's had
That's
why are you hating on Mark? Guys had a good
bro.
series. Come on.
But
scored 10 points in like the first 10 minutes. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. I hate that he blew his. I hate that Kawhi let him down because Mark had such a good game.
I agree.
But I was wondering about the parade thing. I had just a quick question as far as how the parade will go.
The route?
Being that he's going to go to Toronto's parade, and then we would have a parade for him in Memphis. Are we really expecting Marc Gasol to show up for 2 parades in a row?
I mean, we talked about this yesterday on the show. My man Clayton Collier, Local 24, put the. I love Clayton. I don't want to put him on blast.
Oh, me too. I like him.
Clayton's a good dude,
I think he asked the question. Yeah, go ahead.
This was a very silly question, and even the fact he may not have asked the question like himself, just more of a take the temperature of the room, but nonetheless, it's very silly. Should the Grizzlies or should Memphis or should somebody, I don't know who would organize the parade, have a parade for Marc Gasol if the Raptors win a title? The answer obviously is hell no. But yeah, I don't know where the parade would be, and I can tell you this: Marc Gasol would not show up. 100% would not show up for his parade because he would say, "You guys this is dumb."
Well, that's the issue I have with everything, Peter. It's like just like the Superman versus Batman battle and Batman versus Superman, when Lex Luger said that the bell has already been rung. Dumb questions like that ring the bell to the dark sides of the world, aka the New York media and Scott Cacciola, a friend of the show, I'm sure, Scott Cacciola, who writes stories about Memphis being drafted.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, Scott's. We never had Scott actually on this, but I mean, Scott. I know Scott personally, nice guy. You know, Scott's good.
He used to write for the Bills.
Absolutely. Yeah, Scott's a good dude, and he's still got
when
connections.
When you do stuff like that, bro, it gets national media looking at you, and you look like a half-ran organization, a half-ran city. When the people are saying that you're the B team of another NBA team, that you're their cheering section, that kind of stuff. That's what happens, people, when you do goofy polls about should we have a parade in Memphis about.
So you're saying no to the parade?
Oh, if they had one, I would 1,000,000% show up. Like I'd be there, bro. Just bet on it.
It would be similar to the was the Keep Lionel Hollins? Was there a rally for Lionel Hollins where there was like 10 people down there?
20 people there, yeah.
Yeah, it would be very similar, I think.
But for Mark's parade, would they invite like Jonas Valanciunas and CJ Miles and
they might invite all of them. Who would show up? I'm not sure, but I mean, I think you might get like Jake Sokolidis might show up for old time's sake, or
get the whole group together.
Bo Outlaw. You know, he was buddies with the Gasols back in the day.
Powell probably be there.
Powell sure. Why not? I was telling you, Mark wouldn't be there. All these other guys would be there. Mark would be like, y'all, you forget this.
Yeah,
I got better things to do.
What's their third brother? Adrian.
Yeah. Adria.
Yeah. AKA Mike Conley, so we don't know we'll see them there at the same time. So,
did you watch the Bob Myers press conference?
Yes, it was terrible.
Did you get a Dave Yeager vibe from that?
It was a fake vibe from it. But here's the thing, though, bro. I feel bad for Kevin Durant. I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, because like he had options. Like he's a grown multi-millionaire NBA player, like former MVP, who knows what's on the line as far as playing in the finals and as well as for his career. And he still, regardless of what information was given to him, he made a conscious decision. Like, I'm not buying into the narrative that he didn't want to play and he was forced to play or was advised to, he did what he wanted to do. And unfortunately, he got hurt, which is horrible because it's definitely going to affect his career one way or another. It definitely affects his free agency this summer. So, like I said, it's terrible, but I don't particularly feel sorry for him because, like I said, I don't think anybody – I think he did what he wanted to do. And like you said, the fact that he's so social media heavy, I think he forced, memes to kind of force him to get into the game. I blame that type of stuff more so than any type of pressure he got from the organization.
Yeah, I think if he wasn't so plugged in, I think he would do that. I wrote today. Yeah. I've written today in The Athletic about Jonas Valanciunas' contract since I got you here. What do you think? What does he do?
I think he opts in. I think that I don't really think it's as big as a deal as a lot of fans are saying. I wouldn't be. This isn't based on intel or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if the organization didn't really. But I'm not gonna say didn't really care. I can't really think of the word I'm trying to say, but
I think they're indifferent. I think is probably the right.
Yeah. I think when you get a guy like John Morant, it kind of changes everything as far as what you plan on doing. You know what I mean? So, with Jonas almost being a necessity for next season, without a draft pick this year, as far as giving something to be excited about. Now that you have Ja and you have him and Jaren together, that dynamic is a much more important dynamic than whatever Jaren and JB might be. So I'm sure the organization is like, well, if we get him back, we get him. If not, it is what it is. But I just hope that the organization's plan is, if he opts in, is that's all that happens, that they don't, extend his contract or anything.
Well, I think if he opts in, they can't do anything, and they wouldn't extend him. I don't think there's any way. I would agree. In fact, I think in something that I mentioned, to me, it makes a lot of sense for both sides. There's no reason technically why they have to observe this Thursday deadline, because there's no coach still, and there's no who knows what the new coach might think about Valanciunas. Valanciunas has to consider that if he plays for one more year, he gets 17.6, but if he plays as like a bench player on a bad team, not really being pushed, then that's not going to do much for him free agency next year. He's got to consider his long-term factor. So he doesn't know who the coach is going to be. He doesn't know the situation with the team. Both sides could agree to just push this thing back a week or two or whatever. June 29th is the absolute deadline. Something has to be done by June 29th for sure, but there's no reason why it has to be Thursday. It would make sense for both sides to be like, look, let's back it off a week and see if we can coach and then we can talk about it again.
Right, but can he opt in after that date though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would just be whatever. Okay. It would just move the date back. The option, it's always an opt-in. There's never an opt. The only option is opting in. If he does nothing, it means he's out.
He can decide to opt out on that date.
Yeah, well, it's not that he decides to opt out. It's just that if he doesn't do anything, it means he's out. He has to actually opt in. That's the only option. It's not like an in or. If he does nothing, if he sends no paperwork back, that means, I'm out. So he has to assertively do something.
I guess.
All right, man. Keep it clean online, please. Try not to lose too many more followers. Come on.
Yeah, but just remember, brother, South and rise again.
Quit pissing people off. Just come on. All right. See you, man. I love Anthony, but he just likes to needle people. It's like when you play golf with that guy that just wants to just constantly just jab at you. Just get off me. Come on, man. Even people he likes, he wants to jab. See if my man Marco can add to the discussion. What's up, Marco?
Hey, what's up, Pete?
All right, man.
Hey, man, I'm doing good. What about yourself?
I'm well. All things considered.
You guys have some weird conversations, some weird discussions on this show, man.
We do.
It's definitely an experience.
That's what we try to do. That's what we try to go for, Marco. Something a little different for you.
Hey, Peter.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, sorry, I missed you. I lost you just a second.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. We got you back, so go ahead. Go for it.
Hey, man, no worries. I'll just start off by saying I disagree with the previous caller, man. At the end of the day, man, you and the athlete, he believes in what the doctors tell him, and he makes the decision on what's in front of him. And if the doctor's saying, hey, I don't think you can hurt it, you can injure yourself any worse, hey, I think you're good to go out and play, then more than likely he's going to go out and play. At the end of the day, the athlete's job is to play whatever sport that is.
Well, and not only that, you have an opportunity to win a championship. It's a finals game. They're no matter who you are, there's very few of those that you ever get in your career. You have one in front of you, and if you feel like you can play, you're going to play. I don't. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, you go out and play, man. The media, the media's and the fans' job, their job is to have something to talk about, and that's what they do. His job is to play basketball, and that's what he was trying to do. And if it's me, I agree exactly with what you're saying, Peter. No, there is no reason for the GM to come out and have a press conference. There is no reason for the head coach to respond the way that he did after the game. Hey, man, there's something going on in the organization. If it's me, I opt in, and then if I find out there's some type of foul play, they were trying to pressure me and they gave me bad information, I may even look into suing the organization. Because this guy's the best player in the league today. I know that Kawhi is playing well, but you give me a healthy Kevin Durant versus a healthy Kawhi Leonard, I take Kevin Durant every day.
Well, it's he's different. In terms of the best scorer, absolutely. Two-way player,
absolutely.
I mean, Kawhi is a monster defender, and you saw in that little stretch at the end of the game. I mean, the guy is, he's capable of hitting those, Jordan levels of dominance. So I don't know. It would be tough for me to make that decision, but to me they are and then Steph has his own thing. Those are the ones up there, and they're a little bit past LeBron. Harden is a wonderful scorer, but again, we've seen some postseason issues. I have to Giannis is still a little young. You saw him get kind of broken down. So yeah, those guys are the ones that have done it on the biggest stage. Yeah, man. And so at the end of the day, man, you cost it if they were not doing their job, or kind of pushing something off to the side, covering up their eyes on something, then man, you just cost this guy millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, and potentially his career. I mean, guys don't come back from Achilles injuries the same. I mean, it is something that can make you a different player for the rest of your career, depending on how. So it's a massive thing. Marco, thanks, buddy. Appreciate the phone call.
Hey, man, thank you.
A lot to discuss.
This might change the league.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like
the whole league.
This is the biggest. You're talking about teams like the Knicks that were looking very seriously at signing Durant, and in some circles were the favorites to sign.
I mean, since
Durant.
he's KD, like I think teams are still going to throw up money at him.
Yeah,
just because he's KD.
But you don't.
It's the risk.
You're throwing money at what? I mean,
of his potential coming back.
He's obviously but when he comes back, you got to wait another full year. He's 30. You got to wait another year, and then he comes back at 31 or 32, I guess by that point. Is he? How many guys get better at that point in their career? I mean, he's still going to be 7 feet. He's still going to be able to shoot. So as a standstill shooter, he's still going to be a huge threat. But that the ability to drive, the ability to defend multiple positions, all that stuff, that may be compromised. I think he's still going to be an extremely good player, but is he going to be on that same level? I don't know. It's hard to imagine that he could be. But that takes to the other issue of like, all right, well, if that's the case, how did he come back? And why did he come back? I mean, obviously he wanted to play, but was he assured that he would be able to play healthy? I mean, Steve Kerr, again, according to Rachel Nichols, kept saying over and over, the doctors told us that he couldn't get hurt any worse. They told us he couldn't get any hurt. So who are these doctors? They said the same thing about Kevon Looney. He couldn't get hurt any worse, and he got hurt worse in the game. Are these guys just insane? Are they actual doctors? What kind of medical advice are we rolling with here? Is this the actual advice that was given, or is this the advice that Steve Kerr was given by somebody else who, kind of fudged the truth a little bit in the process? Did the actual doctor actually tell Steve that, or was some other person? Did everyone remain kind of conveniently ignorant of the possibility of re-injury because it was a little easier for them to make that call? If I'm Kevin Durant, I want answers to how this could have happened. Was I told that I could? Was he told straight up, you can't make it worse? Again, that's one of those things that, like, in Mark's situation, he didn't think he could make it worse. And you're not dealing with just the pain thing. You're dealing with an actual structural issue. So, if you're going out there and you're numbing it up, I mean, you probably maybe not long-term wise for your career. If you're a guy like Kevon Looney, who, could be a free agent and, maybe you might be hurting yourself long term in doing this, but you're trying to win a championship, and okay, that's a threshold of pain kind of situation. But this is not that. This is a structural situation.
I mean, no matter how good you are and you're down 3-1 in the finals, like, the doctor should be honest with you about your injury. Like, hey, you might have a chance of getting worse. Or
like you could, this
could be career changing injury.
Yeah. Like that Achilles tear is it happens. That's not a.
I mean, he was fine when he came out there. He scored 12 points in 11 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's the other thing. He played like 11 of the first 14 minutes, having not played for a month
time restriction.
on a exactly why? Why weren't there minutes restrictions? Like, you're coming back from this injury that is really tricky, that has a risk of re-injury, not just to the calf, but in the Achilles, as we obviously saw. Why? Why are there no minutes restrictions? That seems crazy to me. The Grizzlies took a lot of flack for like being overly cautious with some injuries over the last couple of years, but I think they learned the lesson of we'd rather be overcautious than deal with something like this. Mike Conley missed the majority of the 16-17 season with this thing, Achilles deal that maybe he could have come back from, but look what happened. If you don't get it right, you're talking about this dude, from a free agent standpoint, from everything else. And the fact, again, I don't want to belabor the point, but the Bob Myers press conference, to me, was more suspicious than anything else. It was more because he didn't have to do that. And so the fact that he wanted to try to get out in front of this and set the narrative for what people would be talking about with regard to this.
Because he brought up him being a good person. These medical staff, they're great people.
Right. The people that like he's getting out in front of this thing. They're good people. And if you want to blame anyone, blame me. Even though I don't think you should blame anyone, is what he says. You should blame me, even though I don't think you should blame anyone. But
he knows they're going to take heat.
He knows that it's not good. And he's trying to let this, emotion show how this guy really cares. This guy's he would never do anything that would be risky. This guy would never risk that. When, maybe he would, and maybe he did. And maybe he is legitimately sad and scared because he realizes what happened and that they were potentially on the hook for some of this. Again, I don't know, but in my mind, and I would ask. I tweeted this out the last night. I would ask again. It's the job of everyone covering the team, just like in the Jaeger situation here. You cannot be swayed by these emotional things. You cannot be. That is not your job. You cannot be swayed and say, you know what, man, he's just so sad. What a great guy. What an amazing guy. And then just leave it at that. That's not your job. You can note that he's emotional, but keep digging. Keep digging. Figure out what's going on. Don't let that distract you from the reality, whatever that reality is, of what's going on. And too often in sports, we get, sports is not like, politics. Sports is not, criminal reporting. But there are consequences and there are issues, and it does matter to a lot of people. And you have an obligation to do the job that you're asked to do. So I hope those men and women on that beat will keep doing what they do, keep getting after it, because we'll hear Bob Myers again. For those of you that missed it earlier on, because I think it's a major thing. I don't remember anything quite like that in this sort of situation. We'll take a break and we'll come back on the other side. A reminder: today is also a great day to head over to Central Barbecue. I mean, really and truly, any day is a great day to head to Central Barbecue. I mean, there's not a bad day to head to Central Barbecue, but today is an especially good day because this is like ideal patio weather. It's not too humid, not too hot. You can just sit out and relax, kick back, get like a slab of ribs. If a half slab, it's fine. You get a full slab, go crazy. Share it with the person that you love. So what a beautiful way to share your romance and your friendship and your togetherness by sharing a slab of ribs. That's really what romance is all about. Lady and the Tramp should have done that instead of going to that spaghetti, the Italian restaurant. They should have just shared the ribs. I think that would have been better. You can go there, get the pulled pork, Get that delicious smoked turkey. Brisket's amazing. So many good options. The wings are the best in town. I absolutely adore them. And, of course, you've got wonderful sides and great desserts. It's there for you. It's Central Barbecue. 4 locations on Central, on Summer, downtown, East Memphis. They've got patios all over the place. Just sit outside and eat some barbecue, and you will feel better today. CBQMemphis.com, Central Barbecue. Back after this on The Experience, Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
These seats are amazing.
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
His wife's words echoed in his mind.
You never fix anything around here.
Well, today that would change. He would fix the water heater. He'd show her that he was the handyman of this house. He was more than capable. Oh, no. Covered it. August 14th, 2008. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Bergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven. The Can-Am Spring Fever event is on now with our family of off-road vehicles that are built for this. We're built for seeing the sunrise and for days lasting past sunset. We're built for trails, tasks, and tough times. And we're built to move you through what won't move. So how do you become built for this? By getting to the Spring Fever event at Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and finding a brand new Can-Am off-road vehicle for a $3,000 rebate on select 2018 models for a limited time. Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, specializing in stem cell treatment for your neck, back, hips, knees, shoulders, and autoimmune diseases. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
So don't forget it. It's just a silly face.
Soft Rock Tuesday continues. America's hottest music-based sports talk radio segment and day theme. That's a guarantee right there. America's most talked about, hottest new sports talk radio, music-based theme day is right here in Memphis.
Right here, Soft Rock Tuesday.
Soft Rock Tuesday. That is certified by the Commission on Playing Music in and out of breaks during shows. It's a great commission. We've got their certification. It took a long time to get. We got it, and so here we are. Welcome back to the experience halfway through. My name is Peter Edmiston. No CJ Hurt. CJ's back tomorrow. Maximilian Von Vincent on the other side of the glass doing his thing. Maximum overdrive, maximum security, maximum voltage, 2%. All of those names and more. That's what you get if you dial Max up. 360-8255 here in the Family Leisure Studios, or Family and Fun come together. Reminder, Super Summer Sales going on right now. I was out in my backyard yesterday for a long time playing with the kids, and it was a perfect day.
It was 80 degrees, wind was blowing. It felt perfect.
Felt wonderful. Like we played,
hot, not humid.
No, we played soccer for like an hour and a half out there. And it's just a reminder again, like there's so much fun when you can just get out in the backyard and just do stuff. And so if you can add an above ground pool to that, that's wonderful. You take a little dip in the pool. And then if you really want to get crazy, then you can go ahead and get one of those spas or a swim spa, throw it out there. And then all of a sudden you go right into the hot tub. You know, when it starts the sun goes down, it starts to get a little cooler, and you pop in that hot tub. Oh, man, that's fun. That's fantastic right there. We used to, I had a good friend that had a fabulous hot tub right next to his pool. And so you would go outside, you'd get in the hot tub, you get yourself all heated up, and then you jump in the pool, which would be like, it would feel extremely cold. And then you kind of like, you would shock your body. It was kind of a therapeutic deal. It was a neat thing. You can do all that and more over at Family Leisure. Let them walk you through all the options that you've got, including outdoor patio furniture, fire pits, that whole thing. They've got you covered. It's a great time to go over there. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. There was no news on the Grizzly coaching front, just in case you're curious about that. The Grizzlies do not have a coach as of this moment. Will that change by the end of the sentence? It did not. No, they still don't have a coach. By the end of the show, maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not.
End of this week?
No. I mean, again,
I said last weekend.
Again, I would have thought, but
we don't need a coach.
We are pushing this thing out further and further.
We got Robert Rera, the new coach.
That's Robert Rera's hologram, Robert Pera, who may end up being the head coach.
I think Heino Lollins is looking for a coach too. Become a head coach somewhere.
Jave Dager? Sure. BJ Stickerbath? He may come back.
They're all pretty good coaches.
One of the names that was kind of mentioned, he interviewed for the Hornets. I don't think he actually interviewed for the Grizzlies job. Ettore Messina was the lead assistant on Greg Popovich's staff. He is taking a gig in Italy to become the president and basically run a club in Milan. And so he is out of the mix, out of the NBA, and he adds, you can throw him into the mix of Ime Udoka, who left the Spurs staff to join the Philadelphia 76ers. There have been some rumors and discussions about other guys as well. It's a very interesting, like guys seem to be leaving that staff. Becky Hammond may end up jumping up and being lead assistant next year, or coach in waiting, or I mean, who knows? What does this portend for Greg Popovich? But it was an interesting. He's a name that has been mentioned several times as a possibility for NBA jobs, but he's 57, and I think people maybe thought, I don't know, just maybe they didn't want to give him that first shot at that age. I don't know, but he's out of the NBA most likely and headed over to Italy. So to the extent that he was ever on the list, you can scratch him off that list. I don't know. I mean, I really don't. Like I would.
One of the coaches that the Grizzlies will hire will probably be somebody that we have not talked about or that they didn't publicly announce.
Yeah, I mean,
being interviewed. I have that strong feeling about that one.
I think if you're looking at the field, versus a specific candidate, I would probably take the field.
Take the field.
Yeah.
What are the betting odds on the Grizzlies' next coach?
And there can't be any. There can't be a market for that. I'll have to check, but surely there's not actually a market for that. And as I mentioned too, I wrote in The Athletic this morning, if you check that out, and there's some great deals going on over at the LA. There's a 30% deal out there. There's a 40% off deal out there. So just kind of, sniff around. I encourage you to subscribe. But I wrote extensively about Jonas Valanciunas and his options situation. He can opt in if he wants to. It's a $17.6 million deal. That's the final year of his deal. If he chooses to opt in, he plays next year at $17.6 million. Then he's an unrestricted free agent after that. If he opts not to take that, then he's an unrestricted free agent as of right now. Now, what would that mean? What goes into that? Now, he has said that he is going to put a lot of emphasis on the coach and who the coach is. And, well, guess what, buddy? Got some bad news for you on that front because there's no coach. This is why I think it would make some sense for both sides to push it back. Although there has been no indication that they're going to do that, they certainly could.
They'll do it on the day of. They
could. I mean, all it would take is for both sides to agree and just put a quick little paperwork into the league office, and there you go. Like, it wouldn't be hard. But because Jonas, and also for the new coach, whoever the new coach happens to be, who knows who that person, how they would feel about Jonas as a player, how much to emphasize. Because Jonas was really used at an extremely high level. The usage rate that he had in his 19 games for the Grizzlies, he only played 19 games. Think about that for a second. When I was going through this piece, like I was looking back and reading it, he's 9. That's it. Didn't even play a quarter of the season. It felt like,
wasn't he injured for the?
Yeah, he was injured
for the first couple of weeks, right?
Well, he was injured. When he arrived, he was just coming off a thumb injury that he'd missed like 24 games, and so he kind of had to be eased back in a little bit. And then at the end of the season, he missed time because he sprained his ankle. If you remember, he missed the last 5 games with an ankle sprain. So he only played 19 games.
Because the trade was in February, so I think April 13th might have been the last game.
Right. So again, but it was weird because it feels like he played a lot more than that. It feels like the impact was much more
20 and 11 every game.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he had a couple 20 games in there. He was going crazy. And like I said, his usage rate was far better than anything he's ever experienced. His per 36 numbers were big. Like, he was definitely super productive. But he was super productive because, again, there was a makeshift team. And, Mike Conley was doing his thing. And, they both guys just kind of had the freedom to do what they needed to do. And they weren't surrounded by a ton of folks. I mean, Jaren Jackson was out. They only played 59 possessions together, Jaren and Jonas. So we have no idea what they would look like together. You can't really plan on what they would be able to give you. How many teams really play with 2 bigs like that anymore? Not that many. So that's another complicating factor when it comes to Jonas and what the Grizzlies would kind of prefer him to do. Now, from his perspective, if he were to opt in, yes, that's more money. He's not going to make $17.6 million anywhere else next year. As part of a multi-year deal, he would not start at $17.6 million. He probably wouldn't even start close to that. I mean, he might get 10 to 12 million to start, maybe. That'd be about so he would cost himself some money in the short term, signing a longer term deal, but more long-term guaranteed money would be the goal. But where would that come from? I mean, there are plenty of other free agent centers that are going to be on the market. Potentially, obviously, Marc Gasol could potentially be on the market if he declines his option. Al Horford, then both those guys probably pick him up, but you never know. Brook Lopez is going to be out there after a monster year. Boogie's certainly in the mix.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of contract he's going to get, though. I don't think he's going to get a max contract.
No, but I think he's going to get a bigger contract than Jonas Valanciunas. In spite of all that, especially because of what you saw last night. Again, like in those little glimpses, he's like, man, this dude is, he can play and he can shoot, and all that stuff is going to be huge. DeAndre Jordan is out there. Vucevic is out there. So there's lots of guys that are in that. Hassan Whiteside potentially is out there. And again, not a guy that I would necessarily get excited about, but they're all in that same classification. It's a market where there's probably more buyers than there are centers to buy. So that's not an ideal market for him to go into and maximize himself as a player. But by the same token, if he stays in Memphis and he opts in and takes the short-term money, that's all well and good. But number one, is there any guarantee that he'd even finish the season in Memphis? At that point now, he's a $17.6 million expiring contract for a team that is in rebuild mode or heading in that direction at the very least. And so all of a sudden now, look at what happened with Atlanta and Brooklyn. Brooklyn used Atlanta to take on Alan Crabb's $18 million of bad money. Said, you guys got some cap space. You can take that money on. And they gave him a couple of first round picks for the trouble. Atlanta's happy to take on some bad money in the process to continue their rebuild. The Grizzlies would be in the same boat, except that they couldn't take on the money as a salary cap thing, but they could take it on long term. They could take on an extra year or two, as long as somebody threw in a pick or two to kind of sweeten the gig. That would be the point. So there's no guarantee for Jonas from his perspective that he even stick with the Grizzlies. He's talked about how important it is to play with Mike Conley. Odds are you're not going to do that, at least not for the full season. So that's going to be another tricky part on top of that. And then if Jonas is moved around and moved somewhere else, or if he ends up playing a more diminished role as part of a rebuild or retooling in Memphis, what does that mean for his free agency next year? When he'd be 28 at that point, and that's your prime year. Like, you want to go ahead and get paid. It's a very complicated decision to me. I mean, it's simple enough to say, okay, yeah, I'll take the short-term money, but there is a long-term risk associated with that. But if you don't take that, can you even guarantee that you're going to get enough in a multi-year deal that's going to make that worth it? Or can you find a landing spot? It's hard to start going through the league and picking team and figure out which teams have some money and need a center and would pay. There's not a ton of them out there. So I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces in this whole discussion about Jonas. So just FYI, he's got until Thursday to make the decision, unless they decide to change it, which they certainly could do. They haven't yet, but they could definitely do that. We'll take more of your phone calls coming up on the other side. 360-8255 is the number. We'll get back into the discussion about KD and what is next for Durant, what is next for the Warriors, what is next for the Raptors, who is going to take home the title, and what does it all mean now that this has shaken the NBA to its very core. A consequential game, to say the least, last night. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More of the experience after this. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Soulfish Cafe has done something that no other business in the history of Memphis has ever done. They won 3 different categories in the Memphis Most. They won it for the best catfish. We all know that's the best catfish, and you can get it fried like everybody does, or you can get it, if you wanted to, grilled or blackened. It's the best. Everybody says it. Then there's seafood. We know about their beautiful shrimp. You can get those fried. You can get them grilled. The shrimp tacos are terrific. Memphis Most, best seafood. Then there's soul food. Yes, a third category, soul food. Their veggies are unbelievable. They've got this sauerkraut sausage Cajun dish that is amazing. I love the cucumber salad. Everything is always so fresh. And now, there's 3 locations with a 4th one coming to Wolf Chase soon. The original Cooper Young, the shops of Forest Hill Irene, and of course the newest in East Memphis. That's on Poplar, just east of Perkins in the old Wolf Camera location. They're the best. You said it. They're Soulfish.
Experience the difference of a Spartan mower. Spartan not only looks amazing on and off the lawn, it's packed with standard features like GT Track for precision traction, balance, and control, with optional features like radial front tires and an all-new 360 floating seat system for an incredibly comfortable ride. Lads, for your zero-turn and golf car needs.
Lads, up your life with Lads. Lads, up your life.
Long John Inn to the Super Summer Sale at Family Leisure. Complete pools starting at only $12.99. 24-foot above-ground pools starting at $19.99 installed. 4-piece deep seating patio sets starting at $7.99. Holly Adirondacks 20% off. Spas starting at $17.99. Swim spa starting at $99.99. Family Leisure has great prices on all outdoor kitchens and pergolas. Lowest prices guaranteed. The Super Summer Sale at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurts. This hour is brought to you by Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, specializing in stem cell treatment for your neck, back, hips, knees, shoulders, and autoimmune diseases. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Trying to take away my worries of today and leave tomorrow behind. Ooh, dream weaver, I believe you can get me through the night.
Dream weaver.
Such a good song.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome back to the program. My name is Peter Edmiston. This is the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt, except today is without CJ Hurt.
I hope he's not hurt.
I hope his Achilles is okay. I hope every other part of him's okay. He's doing whatever it is that he's doing. I hope it's safe. I hope it's fun. I hope he's back with us tomorrow without any drama or anything else. That's Max on the other side of the glass doing his thing. He's really at the helm of the legendary Soft Rock Tuesday, which has again taken the nation by storm. Text her with letting us know Maximum Music Radio. That's exactly right. Your maximum music source is Sports 56. Oh, got a bit of good news here.
Please explain.
Well, I threw out a little hope, and we'll see how it goes. But I was unsure that it could happen, so I didn't want to mention it. But my old broadcast pal Chris Raby just texted me, and his flight got into Boston a little earlier than he thought, and so he's going to be able to join us in about 20 minutes or so to talk a little bit about the situation for Game 7, the National Hockey League, the old puck, the old ice, the old skates, the old stick, the old onion bag, all that. The net is the onion bag. You got to get the old biscuit in the basket, so they say. So I think Raby's going to be able to join us from Boston to talk a little bit about that. I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to talk. I want to, I didn't think it was going to happen. But the vagaries of air travel have allowed that sort of thing. So I think we're going to be able to do that. Now, in fact, we're going to set this thing up. He's literally, I'm getting this moment as we speak. So we're setting this thing up. So that'll be coming up in our next segment. Texters at 67129. Texter says, maybe y'all already talked about this, but can anyone tell me why the Raptors called a timeout when they had Golden State down? They scored 3 or 4 times in a row down the court, taking the lead, and then they call a timeout. Yeah, we talked about that. I thought that was bad management from Nick Nurse. I thought it was really a poor decision. He said that his reasoning behind it was that his players were tired and that he would have lost those timeouts once they got under the 3-minute mark. You automatically get down to 2 timeouts at that point per NBA rules. So he would have lost the timeouts. So he felt like, we got to use them rather than lose them. And his players would have been tired. I get that. But do you know who else was tired? Golden State. And probably more tired than Toronto was. Meanwhile, the crowd is lifting you. And listen, I don't want to get into the whole cliche thing about, what your human body and all. Who knows what anyone's going through. But the adrenaline, if you are tired, not hurt, but if you're just tired, fatigued, if you can't fight through with 3 minutes left with a crowd that is like absolutely rabid and on fire, and you are right there with the opportunity to close out the Golden State Warriors and win an NBA championship for the first time, if you can't fight through your fatigue at that point, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I feel like at that stage, you're going to gut through it. And so, unfortunately, Nick Nurse elected to take those timeouts, and it just kind of killed the momentum. It killed that flow that they were in. It gave Golden State the opportunity to kind of regroup and get their bearings about them. They had much better possessions after that, and Toronto only scored one basket to close out the game. In hindsight, it was a mistake, but even at the time, I think everyone kind of looked around and said, "Boy, I don't like this. I don't get this at all." Texters 67129. Texter says, James says, I sent this text on May 28th. Kawhi Leonard is the closest player I've seen that compares to Michael Jordan. He's going to take down the Warriors in 6. Remember, James said it first. He says he sent that on the 28th. Do you have any evidence of that?
No. Do we have like a text message archive we can go back and look at?
That's a good question.
I know usually after each show we delete them all. So I didn't know if we can go back.
Yeah, normally we kind of clear it out. So I don't know if it. I mean, I'm sure somewhere out there it's but I don't have it on top of that. But you know what, James? I'm inclined to believe you. I'm just gonna believe you. I'm gonna take you at your word. Well done. You said it first. No one else picked the Raptors in 6, and James identified Kawhi Leonard as a very good player. Most of us did not know who Kawhi Leonard was before this series.
Who are we talking about again?
Yeah, exactly. That's what most people thought. But James says that Kawhi is a great player. And so I'm inclined to agree with that. Another text. Before KD went down, he had taken a nasty fall near one of the goals. It kind of looked like a somersault. I was worried about him at that point. Do you think he felt pressure to at least go out there and try, given where they are in the series? That's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, I think my gut feeling is yeah, I think so. I think he felt pressure. The question to me is, did he feel the pressure himself, or was that like a self-inflicted kind of pressure? Because he's so plugged in on social media, he's so like locked in on that whole thing, that maybe he felt like he had to prove to other people that this was his own thing. He felt like he had to prove, I'm tough, I did this, I'm not a coward, I'm not this, whatever people were calling him. Maybe he felt that pressure within himself. That's possible. Did the organization pressure him? I mean, that's none of us can say, because we weren't privy to those conversations, and no one could know. What it does seem is that the organization at least told Steve Kerr, according to him, that Durant could not injure it any worse, which seems like very bad medical advice, and looking worse this morning. That seems to have been told to Steve Kerr one way or the other. Probably, if it was told to Steve Kerr, it was probably told to Kevin Durant. So now that gets into a different sort of discussion. And who knew what and when, and what information did they tell them? What information did they not tell them? That's where this whole Bob Myers press conference, and we will hear that again in hour number 3, where that just feels suspicious to me. Because it feels like he's got some guilt or got something going on. I don't know. 360-8255. Let's talk to Myron before we take this time out at the top of the hour. Hey, Myron.
Hey, what's going on, people?
What's happening?
Oh, KD's injury. Remind me of a line in a song. A terrible blow, but that's how it goes.
It is, and it was.
There was going to be some risks involved, and everybody knew it. The worst outcome happened. But, Peter, there was a terrible missed call. Nobody talks about it. I'm going to tell you exactly what it happened. When they awarded Marc Gasol those last two free throws, he was not in the active shooting, so he never should have been awarded the free throws, and they were not over the limit. As it occurred, I said, is Golden State over the limit? But no, that was not the case at that point because the announcer, after a foul later, stated this was their fourth foul of the quarter.
When was this? Which foul were you talking about?
Marc Gasol's last two free throws that he was awarded. I think those were the last 2 points of the game that he scored.
No, I was going to say the last 2 points of the game were the Lowry layup.
No, that was the Lowry block shot. I'm saying Mark's last points that he scored, that came from those free throws that he was awarded. He was not he was not an active shooter at that point, and the Warriors were not over the foul limit. So it never should have occurred. I was just surprised that Steve Kerr didn't react to it. I guess the crowd and the intensity of the game and all that played a part in it. And one final thing, Peter, you know how people always say how long the NBA season is, it should be cut short and all this nonsense? Guess what? Have people realized that the NHL, since you get ready to talk hockey, is longer than the NBA season? It always have been. Both leagues are going to be crowning their champions this week, but the NHL season actually started on October the 3rd, and the NBA started October the 16th.
Well,
and the NBA was moved up about 2 weeks from what their normal starting time has been the past 2 or 3 years.
I mean, they play the same number of games, and they play.
Yeah, and they play the same number of games.
I mean, it's
calendar,
different. But again, the rosters are bigger in the NHL. I mean, the game is more physical, but
on the calendar is longer than the time the NBA takes up on the calendar.
Well, I mean, that's true. But again, we're talking about the games and stuff. But from a medical standpoint, you're talking about the physical exertions and all that stuff. We got to run. Myron, thank you very much. I'm trying to run down that Marc Gasol thing and figure it out. But we will take a break, come back. And I have confirmed our buddy Chris Raby will join from Logan Airport up in Boston, site of game number 7. In the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. That's right. Because there have been 6 previous games in the final. Unbelievable. So Raby's going to join us. Excited about that. We'll talk to Raby about that. Hockey, then we'll talk. We'll get back into the KD front. And anything breaks this morning, we'll let you know if there's any more news. But it doesn't look good. Looks like a torn Achilles for Kevin Durant, which is a catastrophic injury from a NBA player standpoint. We'll take a break. Come back. Hour number 3 on the way. Stick around. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Thinking about building a home? Perhaps a renovation you want done right. Whatever your plans, contact Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken understands it's a big decision. That's why he works closely with his clients, ensuring they get exactly what they want and expect. Quality construction, on time, and on budget. For 2 generations, Ken Garland Home Builders has been building and renovating fine custom homes all across the Mid-South. Nothing is finished until everything is right. Call 901-751-1632. Online at kengarland.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales. Well, we did it.
We did. We are officially hitched.
We had our first date here at Sweetgrass, and now we're having our first evening as a married couple at Sweetgrass.
Along with pretty much everyone we know.
Everything is new, including the menu. Have you seen it?
I was just looking at it. I love the whole idea of small plates and medium plates and large plates. There's literally something for everyone.
From the pan-seared sea scallop small plate to the 14-ounce ribeye, every appetite can find something at Sweetgrass.
I'm starving.
Well, you haven't eaten in a week.
I had to get into the dress.
Well, let's order before I make an off-color joke about getting you out of it.
You have to be up in 5 hours. 2 hours. 6 minutes, and you haven't slept a wink. ZzzQuil Pure Z's is a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake with no next-day grogginess. So tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil.
This Father's Day, eat like your dad taught you with Kingsford. Just fire up that charcoal and grill some lip smacking, falling off the bone, died and gone to heaven. So good you could ugly cry ribs, or chicken, or heck, grill a whole hog. It ain't summer if you ain't eating good. So what are you waiting for? Kingsford, start something. Grab a bag at your nearest Home Depot.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and WPGFLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Wrapped around each other, trying so hard to stay.
Oh, man. Hour number 3. We had it all. Sailing away to Key Largo. Great song. Soft Rock Tuesday. Man, is it flying high. People love it. Soft Rock Tuesday. Why wouldn't it? Again, America's #1 theme-based music production value of a sports radio program. We've been doing that. We've been honored with that award, and it means a lot to us. Thank you very much. My name is Peter Edmiston. Normally, I'd be joined by CJ Hurt. He is not here. He'll be here tomorrow. Max on the other side of the glass, my man Max Vincent, a.k.a. 2%, doing the thing. And it's a beautiful day. Go outside and enjoy yourself. 80 degrees will be your high. A little cloud cover, but otherwise quite nice. Not a ton of humidity. Unseasonably cool. So enjoy it outside with some outside activities. Like, for example, listening to me talk to Chris Raby. Do it outside. Roll down the car windows. Turn it up. Crank it up big time. Because my man, Chris Raby, formerly of this here show, right here, right now doing big things for the folks at KMOX. Cardinals and Blues coverage galore, and he's in Boston for tomorrow's Game 7. The pivotal moments, the Stanley Cup on the line. Somebody's going to lift the cup, and Chris Raby's there to see it all. How are you, Chris?
I am great. If there's one thing you want to do in June, play hockey outside.
I've said it for years, Chris. I've said it for years. It's the perfect time.
Kind of, the perfect warm-up for Team USA in D2 before really coming together as a team in the elimination rounds and eventually knocking off Iceland was to go and, play an unsanctioned street hockey game against a bunch of ragtag youths in South Central LA, and then eventually recruit one of those good for nothings turned knuckle puck wizard onto their team. And, that really turned things for Bombay and his bunch.
Well, that, in a lot of teams, I think have used that, Chris, as their inspiration, for team building. And I think that today's a great example of that. So you can go out there. No, please feel free.
Quick ranking of the trilogy. I go 2-1-3.
Yeah, I think 2-1-3. I'm gonna stick. I think 3 is definitely third. Between two
got
and
a little
1.
dicey.
Yeah, it's tough to take it all the way. It's like Godfather. You take that third one. It's a little too much for you. What's things in Boston like? You've been there for almost 20 minutes. You must have a real feel for the pulse of the city.
Sorry.
Did you drop your phone? You okay, buddy?
Still got me?
We're good.
Yeah, if I lose you, it's because I'm walking through the airport right now.
Understandable.
Everyone's excited, man. I think coming off of a really, I guess, disappointing night on Sunday in St. Louis, had the chance to be maybe the biggest sports night in the history of the city. And the Blues weren't able to win their first ever Stanley Cup in St. Louis, but they put themselves in a good position. Boston's obviously a really, really good team. So by virtue of winning Game 5, they've got another crack at it tonight. So this is a team that has been really, really good on the road. They've been really, really good statistically, not just on the road, but in games following a loss, going back to the beginning of January when they made the goaltending switch. So, I think it's a confident bunch. I don't know if I would say the same for the fan base. I'm sure that fans are beside themselves and probably expecting or anticipating heartbreak, because that's been kind of the norm for this franchise and its fan base for a long time. But, you've got one game now and one shot to, try to win the Stanley Cup.
What was, it was weird on Sunday watching because, I know you're there at the Enterprise Center. Everyone's going crazy. Fans are lining up, fans are outside at the watch party. It's like, full, it's full like hours before. People are going insane. And it just felt like there was never that moment for them to really get super excited. Within a few minutes, instantly the Blues are down. They get further down in the third period, have that one little glimpse. Oh, maybe that little goal that was allowed, and okay, maybe it gives you a little something. Immediately, boom, you're down 4-1. Did they ever feel like they actually could get excited about something?
You're right. It really was, I think, before the game. That's when it was, kind of at its most fever pitch. Pun intended. Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore, as I'm in Boston. But
plus the Women's World Cup and pitches. You're exactly right about that. Thank you.
But that was really something that the Blues were cognizant of when they lost Game 3 at home a week or so ago. And it's weird the way it played out, because the Blues actually went on the power play like 2 minutes into the game. Boston took a penalty when everyone, I think, was expecting maybe it would go the other way following some of the consternation and some of the complaining from Boston after Game 5. But they couldn't get anything going. And after Boston scored their first goal on a 5-on-3, the Blues actually killed off another minute 40 of a power play, so kept it a 1-goal game. But, they were 0 for 4 on the power play in the first 2 periods. And, when you get that many opportunities and you don't tie the game up or you don't get back into the game, that's obviously an issue. So, they really had some chances, and they had some chances to, not just get into the game, but take control of the game. And, unfortunately, they just couldn't do it. Tuukka Rask was fantastic. And, again, Boston's really, really good. Like, I think sometimes, especially as fans, when you fly close to the sun and you're focused on your own team, it's easy to get frustrated and just assume that it was, shortcomings of your team rather than maybe things that were the result of adjustments made by the opposition. And I give Boston a ton of credit. They made the Blues really uncomfortable. They didn't allow the Blues to do, what they've done for most of this series in terms of the forecheck and in terms of playing the physical style that's led to success. And their goaltender was fantastic. So, I think that the Blues certainly weren't able to give the crowd much to get excited about, but, I give Boston a lot of credit. And now the chessboard kind of flips, and you see if the Blues are able to kind of make the adjustments against Boston and see if they can, take their crowd out of it tomorrow night.
It's weird, Chris, the two games, I mean, the Blues have had an opportunity, and kind of like when anticipation has been at its highest, when Game 3 rolls around, first Stanley Cup final game in St. Louis in like a generation plus. Then, of course, Sunday's Game 6, which is the first closeout game ever in the city. Both times the Blues looked terrible. For whatever reason, just did not, weren't there. But yet on the road, and in these closeout games and in opportunities when the pressure has been different, they've been fantastic. Is there something about the team's makeup that kind of lends itself to this sort of thing?
I don't know. Guys will say that sometimes they keep their game more simple on the road. I guess that, in hockey, when you don't have the last change, maybe you're not as concerned with matchups. And I'm sure other folks will say that maybe, especially during the playoffs, there are less distractions. You don't have people hitting you up for tickets and you're at a hotel and you're kind of insulated. But, I think they're just a really good team. And their road splits have been, a little bit better across the board than their home splits, really not just this year, but the last couple of years. So I'm not sure if I can really put a finger on it, but the reason they've been so good on the road and so good on the road since January is because Jordan Binnington, their goaltender, has been incredible on the road. And I don't know if it's, a chicken and the egg situation, but he's been really, really, really good on the road. And the Blues have, conversely been really good as well. So, again, I don't know if it's a case of, maybe you're not taking as many penalties. The numbers wouldn't really bear that out, but maybe you're taking different kinds of penalties. But like even in this postseason, if they win tomorrow night, Jordan Binnington, as a rookie, will become the sixth goaltender in NHL Stanley Cup playoff history. Not rookie goaltender, the sixth goaltender ever to win 10 road games in a Stanley Cup playoff. Like, that's how good they have been away from St. Louis. I mean, this was the first time Boston had lost 2 consecutive games in a couple of months. They hadn't lost 3 games since March. I mean, they've been really good and they've been really consistent. And maybe one part of that consistency, as odd as this sounds, is that at times, especially on home ice, it's been really frustrating. But that's just kind of the way that it's gone for this team. And, I was looking at some numbers last night to try to quantify, Peter, like what makes a bounce back. Like we say that a team is resilient. Like, okay, that's fine. But like, what does that actually mean? Or can you actually prove that outside of just, it being a nice pass line to a 2-minute post shot? I came up with they're actually more and they're allowing fewer goals on the road because they're not taking as many penalties. And Jordan Binnington's save percentage on the road and on the road in the playoffs when the Blues are 5-on-5 is like .940, which is insane. It's better than his 5-on-5 save percentage during the regular season, which was 3rd best in the NHL. So, for whatever reason, I think they're comfortable. And, I guess kind of to come full circle, Binnington took over on January 7th. And after he took over and after the All-Star break, they had a stretch of like 23 games where they didn't have consecutive home games. They had to play and they had to win on the road. And if they were going to get into the playoffs, they had to win a lot on the road, and they were able to do that. So, maybe it's a mix of cliche and analysis, but they've been really, really good at it. And one more crack at it tomorrow.
It seems like in the series, whichever team wins, the keeper is likely to take home the old Conn Smythe, because I don't know who else you'd give it to at this point.
Yeah, that's really funny because I was listening to some of the guys on NHL Network before Game 6, and one of them said, like, all right, if the Blues win the series, I don't know who's going to win the Conn Smythe or who I would vote for, but if the Bruins win the series, I know who I'm going to vote for. And it's crazy. Like, it made me kind of think about how we hand out awards. And then I was thinking last night about Kevin Durant before he unfortunately had that horrible injury. Like, I think that Willis Reed is the only player in NBA Finals history to win Most Outstanding Player for the Finals and not play every game of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was kind of thinking, like, how do we evaluate these awards? And so often I think it, can have some degree of recency bias. Like, if Binnington tomorrow night makes 42 saves and the Blues win 1-0, does he win? If the Blues win 5-3 and Vladimir Tarasenko has a hat trick, does he win? If the Bruins win, it's probably Tuukka Rask anyway. But it's kind of funny how oftentimes I think we base those awards maybe on expectation versus what we actually see or what we see in the last game. Because, guys like fill out that ballot, I guess, like when the series is decided, like right after the game's over and it's fresh in your mind, and they come around and they pick them up. In some cases,
they do it during the game. Like, during the game is
during the game, like at conference tournaments, it'll be like halftime of the game sometimes, or third quarter game sometimes.
I mean, Sam Amick of the Athletic, he had he tweeted out last night his ballot where it had Kawhi Leonard as the MVP of the finals, and he's like, well, I guess I got to throw it this way, but you got to fill it out. Like in that moment, you're not really given time to analyze the situation.
Yeah, and like, it's kind of funny to me, going back to what I originally said, that this guy said, like, well, if the Bruins win, I know who it's going to be from the Bruins. If the Blues win, I don't know who it's going to be from the Blues. Like, if the Blues win 1-0 in quadruple overtime tomorrow night, the award is still the most outstanding player for the Stanley Cup playoffs, not for the Stanley Cup final. So Tuukka Rask could still win. I guess that could be incredibly awkward. I don't know the last time that a home team lost and the visiting team, the Stanley Cup champions, were celebrating on the ice, and then a player from the home team had to come out theoretically and accept the Conn Smythe trophy. But like, even if the Blues win 10-0 tomorrow night, you could still make the argument, I think, that Tuukka Rask is pretty substantially the most outstanding player of the entire playoffs, because tomorrow night just be 1/26 of his body of work.
No, I think that's a fair point, and he's been terrific. And I don't think there's any way that the Bruins, I'm not sure they get to round 2 without him. So this whole thing would be, wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it drives me crazy when we vote for Coach of the Year, especially in different sports, because I feel like that award is so rooted in like the media. It's almost like the preseason poll thing, right? Like in college football and college basketball, where you say, all right, well, whoever, like, I don't know what a good example is. Like the Cubs in 2015, everyone said they were still a year or two away, but, Joe Madden got them to the NLCS. So because we didn't think they were going to be that good before the year, that must mean Joe Madden was the manager of the year. When you're not taking into account other managers who maybe had teams that were expected to be, still dealt with adversity, and teams still had to be really good. So, yeah, that kind of drives me crazy sometimes. Like, we vote Michigan 7th overall, not we, but writers vote Michigan 7th overall preseason in football. And then, if they win their first game, they move up to 6. Well, because they were 7 last week. Well, but we weren't evaluated based on anything, right? Like there was no body of work to evaluate them upon. So why are you then using that arbitrary ranking to factor into how you think they should be evaluated this week?
No, when you start, but there's a whole media thing, a lot of navel gazing, and like we a lot of folks trying to look at.
I mean, we are great
through the prism of how we thought it was going to be, and now it's not that. So we set narrative, and then it upended the narrative we set, and so now it's this, and it's what was the point of all that? But that being said, like,
I only watch Players Only on NBA TV.
Well, if you want quality, then that's where you're going to get it, my friend. Next level. So I only listen to Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, because there's a guy out there on planet Earth who hates basketball more than Jeff Van Gundy, and yet is paid to call it at highest levels. He just everything annoys the man. It's incredible. Like
except Jimmy John,
except
which he loves to talk about.
It does, and he and Mark Jackson will do like a podcast for about 15 minutes of every game, that will have nothing. It could be like it's an NBA Finals game. It's a pivotal, and they're like, oh, your daughter's she's gonna end up being a superstar. I tell you, what, you get out of my stop. What Doris Burke over here just like walk around? I'm like, what are you doing?
Do every game, yeah. She's like relegated, being scolded by Greg Popovich some of these games when she should be the analyst for every single
fight. Mark Jackson, that's just good basketball. That's just bad basketball, right? What? Come on. Anyway, that's why Doc Emmer. Let's go with Doc Emmer because nothing wrong with Doc. Some stuff that is beyond like dumb media narrative. Wednesday, of course, is huge. You've got the first ever Stanley Cup Game 7, Stanley Cup Final Game 7 for Boston, in Boston. They've been out for like a century, and it's the first time they've
95 years. Yeah,
that's crazy. Zdeno Chara is going to be in his 14th Game 7 as an NHL player, which is absurd. This is, of course, obviously for the Blues, their first ever, the opportunity to win their first ever cup. Excuse me. And then you've got a C, not only Boston there, but then I read somewhere that Busch Stadium is going to be open for a watch party for the game.
Yeah, so Enterprise Center, which is where the Blues play, which is about 18,000. They started Game 5 of the Shark Series, the Western Conference Final. Game 5 of that series on the road, and they had a ticketed watch party. Go online, pay $10, and went to the Blues charity, and it was come for a serve general admission, and they basically sold that out. Cool. They found out through some surveying that 70% of people that went to that game had not been to a regular season or playoff game that year, mostly due to cost. So then they did it again for the first two games, the fifth game of the Boston series. And, by Game 5 of the Boston series last week, the watch party completely sold out in like 8 minutes. So they did it again yesterday for tomorrow night's game, and it was assigned seating. They sold every seat in the building, including club level. They sold the suites, and it sold out in like 5 minutes. And people were going berserk because they couldn't get in. And there wasn't going to be these huge parties outside with the screen and the streets and all that. So Cardinals, who have an incredible relationship with the Blues, I guess reached out. I heard from a Cardinal employee yesterday that they were trying to round up some employees, and they worked with the Blues and with the NHL and with NBC because there's some incredible licensing issues.
Right.
I think this is the first watch party that has been in another facility that's not an NHL facility. And they are putting tickets on sale today. So, yeah, it'll be pretty cool. I don't know how much of the building they will, they're going to have opened up, but there's certainly demand. I saw the pictures of everybody last week.
Oh,
and, Ballpark Village was 1 in, 1 out last Sunday at 3:00, and that'll be pretty cool. So, it's a cool thing for the city, and it really is a great relationship between the two organizations and, two ownership groups that pretty much by themselves, both financially and through their hard work, have done more than, probably, there's only a handful of people who have equaled what they've done to the city of St. Louis. So it'll be cool. I'm eager to see, the turnout. I hope weather cooperates, and that'll be a neat thing for the city. Just could be a massive party, or could be a lot of bumped out people downtown tonight.
Well, either way, important to drink heavily at the event. For celebration or for support. I think
or both.
Or for just really to cover your bases. And again, one of the great things in St. Louis when I was up there.
Brett Hall's doing both.
God bless him. I was up there last week and I never once got carded. So it's amazing. I don't know. I get carded here every time no matter where I am, grocery store, restaurant, gas station, doctor's office, wherever it may be.
I told you that wearing the white tailed coat would give you an air of distinction. So I'm glad that
it certainly did.
And in a city as highbrow as St. Louis, you're amongst friends.
I mean, I just think the commitment to drinking is superb in St. Louis. There is 100. They're all in on it. There's no doubt. Hey. I'm at City Museum. It's like 9:30 a.m. Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of my kids are running around. I'm like, can I get a beer? Absolutely, you can. Do I need to? No, do not. Under no circumstances should you show me an ID.
One back. Were you tipping one back? I hope you were.
Of course I was. What are you talking about? I mean,
this is actually kind of cool. You'll like this. Anheuser-Busch is taking the Zamboni is Bud Light sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually an Olympia.
Geez.
It's like a Xerox machine.
Yeah.
Bud Light sponsored, and they're taking the Zamboni ice shavings and taking them around to different bars in the city and dropping off like giant like tubs of Bud Light with the Zamboni ice and just letting people go wild.
Go wild, like drink it, like jump in it, like what? I'll go wild. How?
No, like to ice down all the free beer.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's so good.
Yeah, man. Originally when someone said they were using the Zamboni ice,
I thought it was like in the drink.
Beer.
Yeah, I was
like,
what?
It's like there's a lot of Zdeno Chara's blood on that.
A lot of sweat, just a very sweaty, very salty beer that I'm
a lot of
right
grit.
That's a grit. You know what? It's a gritty. You want to get that extra grit? Yeah. That's the best way to do it. You ingest it.
Hockey cliches are the best. I love them. I love hockey.
Give me a prediction. By how many goals will the Blues win?
Ooh.
10?
Ooh. I will say in all sincerity that the way this year has gone, from the team to have been in last place in the entire league in January, to then, put this rookie goaltender in who went 24-5 and is setting records every round in the playoffs, and to win 12 in a row, the longest streak in franchise history, and get to the Cup final for the first time in 50 years, and win the first game at home. Like, I don't know, man. Again, this is totally guilty of what I was talking about earlier, because it's totally recency bias and it's totally flying too close to the sun. But I just expect them to win because they've just won for the last 5 months. Like it's boils down to everything that I usually try to push against in terms of cliche or hyperbole or, thinking with your heart over your head. But they've just won and won and won and won. And they've done it, with an incredible goaltender, and they've done it on the road, and they've done it after they've lost games. And, I guess I'm hopeful that this story has that ending because, much like when I lived in Memphis, in the 5 years or so that I've been in St. Louis, I've just really become attached to the city and really, want the best for the city. And like when the Grizzlies were making their runs, it has that feeling. And it's a little bit different, obviously, because of the organizations and, what they've been through. But, I really am hopeful that this story has that ending. And it probably happens in some super dramatic way, whether it's a one-goal game or a comeback or triple overtime. But I don't know, man. Like, these Game 7s are a coin flip, and the Blues have been calling the coin right for the last 5 months. So maybe they got one more in them. We'll see.
I hope so, Chris. Enjoy it either way, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
Yeah, and then we're all gonna go swimming some chowder.
See you, man.
All right,
the worst. He's the worst and the best. He's Chris Ravy. All wrapped up in one. We'll take a break. Come back with more of hour number 3 of the Experience. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56.87.7 FM.
The Press Box with Keith Parker and Elliot Wender. Weekday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Not long ago, I visited a person who fought a raging battle with cancer. I'd seen her gritted teeth stubbornness and watched her refuse to be emotionally beaten down by this energy-sucking attack on her body. I'd witnessed this beautiful person refusing to be humiliated by this terrible disease that was ravaging her physical appearance. Today, there was something different, though, about her. Subtle, but distinctly different. How are you, I asked. Immediately, she responded, I'm praying, and I want to pray that Jesus will come soon and deliver me from all this. And we did together. It wasn't a surrender to despair. It was a yielding to certain hope, to certain promises. It was her ultimate commitment. I often think of this person and ponder how I would face my own situations. I've been there. I know. Well, I invite you to be a part of that, to do the same. Our hope is out of this world. I'm Shane Stanford with Christ Church Memphis.
Visit ChristchurchMemphis.org.
It's time to be the talk of the neighborhood or lake house with that custom golf cart built by the experts at Ladd's. With both new and used models, they are sure to have exactly what you need. The brand new club car Onward encourages families and friends to come together and enjoy being outside. Find out more at ladsonline.com or call 901-324-8801.
Lads, up your life with Lads. Lads, up your life.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world. And I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
It's time once again for the St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival. This year, they are celebrating the 62nd anniversary of this Memphis tradition. Throughout the years, the event has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for St. Louis School and for children of various charities throughout the city. This year, the 62nd annual Hole-in-One Charity Festival runs Sunday, June 16th through Saturday, June 22nd. It will feature the $1 Million Shootout. Selected nights, golfers have a chance to win $25,000 toward the purchase of a vehicle from City Auto, with qualifiers having a chance to win $1 million on the final night. The weekend will be full of family fun and entertainment with children's carnival rides Friday and Saturday nights. Saturday afternoon will be the popular children's golf from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. As always, each night presents great food and family fun for thousands of Memphians on the grounds of St. Louis Catholic Church, 203 South White Station Road. Don't miss the St. Louis One Charity Festival.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurts. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to
my thanks again to Chris Raby for coming on the Blues. He's all on the Blues coverage of KMOX, pre and post and all that good stuff. And he's up in Boston for Game 7. They got the watch party at the Enterprise Center, and they had to boost it out. And now Busch Stadium is going to be hosting an additional watch party. Don't know how many people will be there, but the crowd is I mean, it can hold 46,000 for a Cardinals game. I don't know that they can hold that many for the watch party. I don't know that everyone can see with the screen and all that stuff, but where you put, because you get the main screen like for the behind the plate and all that, but then like the folks like in the bleachers, I don't know if they could put screens. I don't know how that would work. It's kind of unprecedented, but it's a cool deal. And for my friends up at St. Louis, including Raby, I'm pulling for the Blues. I'd love to see them get it done. In Boston won't be easy for Game 7. Game 6 of the Warriors-Raptors series will be Thursday. Yes, there's going to be a Game 6 after last night. What a dramatic, insane, wild. There's just so many emotions in that game. A tragedy, triumph, the whole thing. Warriors win at 106-105.
Depression was in it.
Yeah. Well, that would be the tragedy part. Where Kevin Durant appears to, well, we know now it's an Achilles injury. The suspicion is that it's a fully torn Achilles, which is a particularly devastating injury for a basketball player. There are not very many guys that come back from a fully torn Achilles that are the same, that you can be close. You can be, I mean, Dominique Wilkins came back and was quite good, but it's very unusual. Typically it's more, Kobe was never quite the same. Wes Matthews never been the same. Boogie Cousins is still a lot to prove. So I don't know. Achilles is a brutal injury for him to have to deal with. And did he come back too soon? Was he pressured to come back by Golden State? Was he given bad information by their doctors? Did he feel the pressure himself because of his massive consumption of social media and how he seems to have rabbit ears over all of that stuff? It was pretty incredible. And it was highlighted by something that I don't remember seeing before, which is the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers, coming out to do a press conference after the game is over to discuss the injury, and said it was interesting because before this, he actually, their PR people specified that he would only take questions from local media, from people that have covered the Warriors, not national, which is another weird designation for this. So you can listen to him here, and this is the press conference, or this is his statement, I guess, at the beginning of the press conference. And it sounds as though he's emotional. And you didn't see any tears, but he certainly sounds emotional as he discusses Kevin Durant's injury.
Kevin had it's an Achilles injury. I don't know the extent of it. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. Prior to coming back, he went through 4 weeks with our medical team, and it was thorough, and it was experts and multiple MRIs and multiple doctors. And we felt good about the process. He was cleared to play tonight. That was a collaborative decision. I don't believe there's anybody to blame, but I understand this world. And if you have to, you can blame me. I run our basketball operations department. And let me tell you something about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant loves to play basketball, and the people that questioned whether he wanted to get back to this team were wrong. And I'm not here to... He's one of the most misunderstood people. He's a good teammate. He's a good person. It's not fair. I'm lucky to know him. I don't know I don't have all the information on what really the extent of what it all means until we get an MRI. but the people that worked with him and cleared him are good people. They're good people.
So that was very.
What's misunderstood about KD?
Well, I think that. Again, I'm not to put words into his mouth, but it feels to me like that would be a discussion or a point about people thinking that he's a bad teammate or that he has sabotaged the. Go back to Draymond Green and that whole thing that they had back in November when they had the on-court fight about Draymond saying we don't need you, we won without you, etc. The fact that Kevin is going to be a free agent in all likelihood, that has been a distraction in some circles. So people thinking that he's about himself and not the team. I think that's part of the issue there. There may be other deeper stuff that I don't know about, but that's my interpretation of what he said. He said he kind of, again, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical. Like, I think the reaction for this, for the most part, seems to be people saying what a great guy Bob Myers is to take the flack for this, or to try to jump on the bullet for everybody else. To me, it was a bit overwrought, and I don't know. It didn't feel overly genuine to me. Like, it felt like we're covering up, or we're trying to kind of distract a little bit from what's going on, or to let's not ask too many questions. Let's get out in front of this thing. Let's put a scene on here. Let's kind of, show how much we care. And I'm sure I know he's legitimately sad. I'm sure he's legitimately hurt by that. But is that hurt born out of just disappointment and empathy for his team and for his player, or is it born out of we made a mistake here and we've done something that we shouldn't have done? We put him out there in a situation where we gave him bad information, or we allowed him to unduly risk his future in the pursuit of this championship. We did this, and now he's trying to kind of experience that guilt, or to put that out. And it just, there was something about it I didn't like.
He didn't have to say like the medical staff, they're good people. He said that because he knew there was going to be questions.
It was.
Why is Klay Thompson maybe rushed out there? I mean, he's been good, but like, why did he come back so quick? Kevon Looney's been.
Kevon Looney
he got injured again last game.
So again, I don't, I'm not saying Bob Myers is like, some bad dude or anything like that. I'm not saying, it just feels to me like this is kind of a, like it's a cathartic thing for him to get this out, but also to try to deflect a little bit and to try to maybe even misdirect about what you're really thinking about when you're thinking about this stuff. It should not take away from the idea and the goal of the people that are covering that team on a regular basis to get to the bottom of how this thing happened. How was he cleared? What did they know? Was this preventable? I mean, ultimately, we had all talked about it going into Game 5. We felt like, well, he's cleared. If he's listed as questionable, he's going to play. Should he have been listed as questionable? Steve Kerr kind of stopped giving blow-by-blow updates. There were articles that were sourced within, from unnamed players in that locker room, Golden State players who had kind of made the insinuation that they weren't sure that Durant was really like giving it his all, really trying to come back. Were they 100% sure? That folks are saying they were baffled that he didn't come back earlier. Again, how did all this happen? So we can't wipe all that away just because this happened. We can't wipe all that away. But the idea that you would hurt your Achilles as a result of this calf is a predictable thing. There were plenty of people out there that were trainers and medical folks who made that connection. So for Steve Kerr to say the doctors told them that he couldn't hurt it worse, that seems laughable. Like that doesn't, to me, that just doesn't pass the smell test. So I don't know how it happened, but I think there's got to be more to that story. Let's take a time out. We'll come back and wrap up this edition of The Experience in hour number 3. Brought to you by our friends at Acura Memphis. You can find them online at AcuraMemphis.com. Go see them at 385 and Ridgeway. Perfect day to walk around and look at the lot. Look at how many great cars they've got. Pre-owned inventory is through the roof. So many great automobiles of different types. Whatever make model you're looking for something small, something big. You're looking for something that is hybrid, something that is, a sports car performance, all that stuff, they've got you covered top to bottom over at Acura of Memphis. Find out more online, AcuraMemphis.com. Great lease rates, great purchase rates for you. 385 in Ridgeway. That's where you'll find Acura of Memphis. Back after this, Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Bases loaded here at the top of the ninth. And the pitch. And it's out of here.
We deliver baseball caps, mitts, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
This Father's Day, eat like your dad taught you with Kingsford. Just fire up that charcoal and grill some lip-smacking, falling off the bone, died and gone to heaven. So good you could ugly crab ribs or chicken or heck, grill a whole hog. It ain't summer if it ain't even good. So what are you waiting for? Kingsford, start something. Grab a bag to nearest Home Depot.
I Buy Houses. 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition. And yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
The forensic analyst searched for clues to the house fire. Starch? Suddenly it came together. The fire was started by
An over-microwaved potato?
Covered, July 25th, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The Can-Am Spring Fever event is on now with our family of off-road vehicles that are built for this. We're built for seeing the sunrise and for days lasting past sunset. We're built for trails, tasks, and tough times. And we're built to move you through what won't move. So how do you become built for this? By getting to the Spring Fever event at Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and finding a brand new Can-Am off-road vehicle for a $3,000 rebate on select 2018 models for limited time. Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Back with you with our final segment here of the program for this Tuesday. CJ back tomorrow. Also tomorrow, CJ gets to enjoy a little extra excitement because he picked Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy won the golf tournament. And my man Greg Hyde's going to be here. We're going to talk U.S. Open. And CJ gets to, do a victory lap.
Good for CJ.
Good for CJ.
He finally got one right.
He finally got one right. Fantastic. Also good for you out there because I'm trying to help you save a little extra money this summer. Yeah, everyone wants to save a little extra. You got your vacations coming up. You've got other things going on. The kids are out of school and you want to go have some fun. But maybe you've got some credit card balances that have just gone up and up and up and up and up. And those interest rates are big and you just keep paying more and more. If you can somehow get a hold of those interest rates and lower that interest on the credit card balances, you're going to save yourself hundreds or thousands of dollars. Well, let me tell you, I got a great answer for that problem. And the answer is pretty simple. It's Lightstream. It's an easy way to save hundreds to thousands of dollars and lower your interest rate. You can get that Lightstream credit card consolidation loan from 5.95% APR with AutoPay. It is significantly lower than the average credit card interest rate. You know what the average credit card interest rate is on that balance? Over 19%. How about 5.95% instead? Do the math on that. Let's say you've got 5,000, 10,000. Start doing the math on that over the number of months, and it will be a huge savings for you. There's absolutely no fee involved. You can even get your money as soon as the day you apply. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a better loan experience, and that's exactly what they deliver. Just for my listeners, apply now to get a special interest rate discount. And the only way you can do this is to go to lightstream.com/Peter. That's lightstream.com/Peter. Again, that's lightstream.com/Peter. It's all subject to credit approval. Rate includes a 0.5% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Peter for more information. Again, the folks at Lightstream can save you thousands this summer. Have some fun with Lightstream. Well, we don't know the extent of the Kevin Durant situation, other than to say that it is believed by the Warriors that it is a torn Achilles. That won't be confirmed until an MRI is done later on today. I would expect that sometime you would see that information. And I mean, let's be honest. Like it looked like an Achilles. It's everything surrounding it feels like an Achilles.
You saw the explosion in that video of his calf when he pushed down on it. It just looked like it just completely exploded.
So now the question becomes, in the shortest of short terms, what happens now in the series? Do the Warriors have enough mentally now, knowing that there's no Durant? Does that inspire them and they go crazy for the rest of the series? Or did they give every ounce of that in Game 5 in an emotional outburst and like just a crazy thing, and they're just going to be exhausted for Game 6 or maybe even Game 7? Do the Raptors still have enough belief? Did they get shaken by what happened at the end of that game? I mean, again, remember, look, the Raptors shot incredibly poorly. I know it's hard because it was such a weird game with so much that happened away from the actual game itself. It's hard to look at it as just a regular basketball game, like just the X's and O's and like what happened. But if you want to look at it strictly from the X's and O's, the Warriors made 20 threes last night, Max. The Warriors made 20 threes, shooting 48% from the three-point line. Okay?
And won by how many?
The Raptors shot 25% from three, made only 8 3-pointers, and the Warriors won by 1 point. So if you're looking at this strictly as X's and O's, you think, it's hard to play a whole lot better than the Warriors played, at least shooting. And they're probably not going to shoot that well for the rest of the series. The Raptors are probably not going to shoot that poorly for the rest of the series. It still would seem, you'd still think that the Raptors should be favored to win. But the funny thing is the Warriors have that mojo, that extra little thing, whether championship mentality, whatever it may be, whatever you want to call it. They have that thing where you just don't believe they're going to be beaten until you're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to do it. And that was I was so frustrated with watching Toronto at the end of the game because Kawhi finally did it. Like, he turned it on. He had been just kind of, I don't know. He had 16 points, just kind of whatever. Not really playing a good game by his standards. A lot of turnovers, a lot of weird play. He wasn't quite himself. And he comes out of the timeout with 5-6 minutes left in the game, whatever it was, and goes crazy. 10 straight points, 2 threes, couple twos, playing defense. He went to like God mode.
I was about to say that those 2 minutes was complete greatness. Like that's what that was.
It was a pantheon.
I think someone texted in and said that was close to Michael Jordan.
It was. I mean, that was the same type of stuff that you talk about when you talk about the absolute greatest players to ever play the game. What level do they get to? That's what the level was. You watch it and you're just in awe of what the guy can do. And so they go up 103-97. And at that point, Nick Nurse takes those timeouts, which I don't get it. I'm not saying that swung the game or whatever, but that was a very, very weird. And
you could probably say it is because your team's in a groove. You have all the momentum.
I mean, I know everyone's tired. I get it. But the Warriors are tired too. Your team is in a groove, and your tiredness can be offset by the fact the crowd is just electric, going crazy. I mean, insane what they're doing. And so that gives you that extra little pump, that little adrenaline. Instead, you just kind of take some of that away with these timeouts, and they come out and they're not the same. And they didn't try to finish the game. That's my biggest point. You got to finish. You can't just coast to the victory. The Warriors are not going to give it to you. They're not going to beat themselves down the stretch. They've done this too many times. They got too much pride. You got to take it from them. And the Raptors stopped playing. They started playing for to milk every second of the clock, trying to just ease into you cannot do that. You got to finish these possessions. They stopped doing that, and it cost them. Now, for Game 6, Game 7, I mean, they still are in the driver's seat of the series. It may not feel that way, but they are. My thanks to Chris Raby for jumping in. Appreciate that. Thanks, of course, to Max for a great job. Thanks to CJ. He did a great job while he was.
Well, you give him a thanks that he's not even here.
Yeah, no, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I'm going to have to say that one in the archive.
No, yeah, don't tell him. Don't tell him. Nobody tell him. You guys all heard that. Don't tell him. Thanks to all the texters and callers for all the contributions today. Coming up next, of course, we've got middays. Everybody, have yourself a great Tuesday.
This is John Conway with Conway Services. Is your air conditioning system ready for the hot Memphis summer? Good news, it's spring cleaning time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. Did you know the number one cause of air conditioning system breakdown is dirt? A dirty air conditioning system can literally starve the life from your home's cooling system, causing untimely breakdowns, higher utility costs, and even premature equipment failure. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system, making sure you're ready for the hot Memphis summer, all for only $69. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash. Plus, right now, we'll treat your air conditioner with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511, and call this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Better way to beat the heat than with some meat.
I think you rarely listen to the things that actually come out of your mouth.
I'm serious. What better way to cool down during the summer than to hit one of Central Barbecue's 4 convenient locations and enjoy some good old carnivore action?
See, carnivore action? Who says that?
Pulled pork, ribs, beef brisket, chicken, turkey, or combos of any of them. Central Barbecue has got whatever meat you crave.
Seriously, do you ever stop and just think before you speak?
Central Barbecue. Beat the heat with some meat.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $1,389 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21040 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer. Stock by 7/119. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 5 corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo